On the beach.
To get your information. For the food to be fine. Spoon, television. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you know. Take the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening more than to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Bonjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat get found crazy like my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, yes, but you got it. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you know. Take the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening more than to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Bonjama, Maryland, to spoon. Get your information. For the food to be fine. Spoon, television. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. I'm gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you and no. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Morocco, to spoon. Politician information to the food to be bad. Spoon, 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 spoon. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you and no. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Morocco, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Bonjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep crazy like my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, but yes, but you got it. Spoon TV. Spoon entertainment.
Hit the South and man. Charges on the beat.
To get your information. To be spoon, Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa.
Indeed, Spoon is going to tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon will tell you what is happening in Africa, what is happening across the country. When the politicians want to break the news,
You want to get it.
Liberians want to engage. They want to talk to the policymakers.
You want to know what is happening in Morocco.
They talk to Spoon, and of course,
Politicians want to make their decision.
we're out here making sure that we bring you information,
You want to know what happened
the updates,
in ministry.
bring you the analysis on the trending national issues. And I'd like to welcome all of you tonight to this edition of the program. This is the late night show, late night politics on Spoon. I know to many of you, it's been a minute, it's been some time, and I want to say thanks to all of our ardent followers, the people who make up time every night to watch or listen to the late night show. We appreciate you. We appreciate you a whole lot. The late night show, we've come to build a community here, and to a point where if we didn't come on a day, there are lots of you who are concerned about what's going on. And yes, it's been over a week since we last came on, and we just want to say that it's been because of some adjustments that's been ongoing, and that has in a way affected the time we usually come on. So before I go into the rest of the show, we're gonna restate this, but based on the adjustments, the late night show will now be coming on twice a week, uh, and that's Fridays and Saturdays. Your late night show will be coming on Fridays and Saturdays. And this is the adjustment for the time being. And so the rest of the crew will come on tonight. We're going to have a great conversation, as we always do. We're going to talk Liberia. We will discuss the issues. We will provide the analysis and make sure that we can talk Liberia, this country that we all love so dearly and we want to see do better. And of course, the late night show is here tonight. And I want to welcome all of you. Thanks for joining us. I see the many of you joining us in the comment section from YouTube, from Facebook, and on the different social media handles we are streaming on. I want to welcome you tonight. It's a great thing to be here on this edition of the program. My name is Nelson Collet, and it's going to be a great interaction tonight. It's like, having having your cup filled and is now overflowing, and you want to take away from that cup that's already filled, and so you become a bit selective of as to what to take based on maybe the limited time and all of that you have. I say this to say that yes, for the past couple of weeks we've been off on the late night show. There's been a lot going on in the country. So many things have been happening, and it's just very important that we get to talk about those issues. We're hoping that we can have the luxury of time to go through those issues, to have the national conversation going, and just get it going on. So, but I want to say thanks to all of you. Let me welcome Noosh to the show tonight. Kindly share the program as you join us. We appreciate if you want to share the program. Noosh is here tonight. Amjad Balo is here as well. Thank you for coming on. I see Joseph Torre is joining us. Joseph Colley is here as well from YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Saliet Vincent is here. I see Moses Gardi Monga. Thank you for coming on tonight from the SD Copper area. I see Korean Kimba. Thank you for coming on. Saliet Vincent is here once more. I see Hipko Kazi. I see Tommy Jr. Thanks for joining us, Tommy Jr. We appreciate you. And all of you coming on tonight, I want to say thanks for joining us. Sir Winston, thank you for coming on. And everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. Let's have a great show. Let's have the conversation going. I see our co-moderator, Moba Zokia, is already here. Let me get Moba coming on. Let me bring Moba on. Moba, welcome to the show, man. It's good to have you on tonight.
Well, thank you, Nelson. Long time, my man. I know. Anyway, we understand.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I get you. You hear me?
Okay, go ahead. I didn't hear what you just said.
Yeah, I said long time. We
Oh, yeah.
to discuss the issues. It is unfolding in our country. And we were, as it is, we keep discussing it, Nelson. And I want to say thank you for taking upon your time to be here tonight also. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we're here tonight to keep the conversation going. And again, I want to welcome all of our folks here tonight. It's been some time, but it's the good thing is that we're here tonight. And
yep, that's the most important thing.
To the folks for joining us.
I'll be here for like 1 hour, and then I'll go home. I'll join you guys.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, there's been a lot going on in the country, and sometimes I don't know where to start from,
Mhm.
especially when it has taken some time. But Mama, just do your opening,
Yeah.
then I'll
Thank you.
provide the updates, and then we get the conversation going.
Yeah. Thank you, Nelson, and thank you to our many listeners. Welcome. This video was done, but we'll try to communicate with y'all our schedule because now we're all busy. Not all the time will be on due to our schedule, our busy schedule. But again, we will also tell you guys our follow up because you guys always here, always on the platform, watching, and some people are reaching out to me while you're on the show. Again, we apologize, but we will try to communicate that with you guys in time. But let me go to the main issue, Nelson. Nelson, our country now is turning to a political war zone. You know what I mean by political war zone? We're fighting war, right? But it seems like we're fighting a war that transforming the mind of many Liberians. Look, this time in our country, everybody a politician. Sometimes some things going on when you try to talk about it, and so long ain't on your side, people get angry. I saw a video from JMB's son, and I felt very, very bad about our country. You take your side, somebody take their side. But you see sedition, people in CDC biting, happy for that man, the way they beat him or something, he got hurt. Very bad. But people biting, the people happy. They celebrate, they say, oh, any man lying? Brother, discuss the issue. If the man say the government doing this, if you don't agree to it, you bring your own. You go, you're talking. You tell your own, I told my own, the Labrador people, what? Decide, I let the West Point say, come on. But end of the day, people will start attacking you physically and also attacking you on Facebook. Facebook attack is okay. You can say whatever you want to say. But for you to attack somebody physically because they take their side, I think it is wrong. I think the youth of our nation need to come to their senses. They shouldn't be dragged into political war. They shouldn't allow people fool them. Because when they go to prison, all the people that are begging for them today, do it, they will not be with them in prison. They will not be with them in prison. Some of these things, they don't have no good thinking. You just said you do things to please one man. And when you please that man, another day, look at what happened to the Capitol building. The people who are involved, we don't know what happened, but people who are involved, they're in prison. And the big shot, they're on their own, they're walking on their own. Nobody care about them. But you, the small guys, you the one who feel the consequences. You can come here and keep doing things, or what is not in the confines of the law, attacking people because of their personal, of their political view, or the way they see something. Imagine when cities were in power and these things happening. You know what coming happen? And we saw it. People who criticized the CDC government, they were attacked. Today, United Party government in power, people now attacking individual because they're saying the government doing well. It's not even on Facebook, but physically. We got to
Oh,
change the narrative of our mindset and focus on the issues. If I tell you, say, the facing call where you said a lot, bring the proof, I bring the proof, we discuss it. But attacking me physically, it is wrong. It is wrong, Nelson. Thank you.
yes. And I think you're right on that, Moba. We shouldn't get to a point where we we resort to violence to get our issues ironed up. We should always, push for a country where everyone, everyone can have the opportunity to express themselves and work freely. If we disagree with whoever, let's have our disagreements discussed, but not going physical in our disagreements, and I think it's just
Yeah.
important that we transition. But I want to welcome everyone again. Thanks for joining us tonight. Well, Mama, there's been a lot going on, and I know a lot of conversations have been going on back and forth. Folks have had, you know, their own piece of the pie every step of the way. But why we're looking or taking a look at the happenings in the course of the week, you cannot discuss all the other issues that transpired without going back. And I mean going all the way back to Senator Snow's comment. Senator Snowe made a comment some time ago. I mean, and it's been about a month or so, or a little over a month, since the senator made a comment that he wished the current administration would fail. And he thinks if that happens, then he's going to be in a better position because he wants to run 2029. And he makes the comment, well, there are just a few reactions, and it takes some time. And then we see a communication coming from the government of Liberia or from the information minister. In fact, after the president, after the senator made a comment, he went engaged with the president. They had lunch, or they hung out and stuff like that. But then about a month after, the information minister addresses a communication to our very important partners, stating, interpreting what the senator said, that he's contemplating on overthrowing the government, treason, that he wants the government to fail. He wants the people of the country to suffer. And based on the communication, then the whole conversation resurfaced. Well, there were others who thought that the senator was right, by saying that he wants the government to fail, or he wished the government would fail. Why there were others who had their own take on the whole situation, that this should not be coming from the senator. So there were back and forth on that particular issue. The senator had to appear. He further clarified. And then in the Senate session this week, that was on Tuesday, he said he feels that his life is at risk. Just the comment from, or the communication from the information minister. And in a very emotional tone, and I want to find that clip, the senator said, if anything happens to me, the government of Liberia should stand ready to answer questions, because they're accusing me of treason. And treason is a very serious offense. It's punishable by death or lifetime imprisonment. And if this is what the government is accusing me of, then I'm afraid. My life is at risk. I need the international community to hear me. And I need the Liberian Senate to act now, because my life, my safety, my political future, and everything is on the line. Well, those were the words. Those were the words of the senator. And that has been a major conversation in the country. From the weekend, moving on to the rest of the week, there's been a major conversation around that. How can we discuss the rest of the issues without looking at that? But we're still moving on with all these things happening. And then comes in the situation with the Capitol building. Well, we all know, and Moba, you know the story, that the Capitol building got a fire in the heat of the political tension at the House of Representatives. The Capitol building got a fire on the 18th of December. Senator Amar Conan addressed a communication to the Senate, reawakening the conversation, the debate. He's saying at this point that, look, we need speeded, in fact, we need update. Senator Conan is saying that, okay, the tension has calmed down a bit. A lot is not being said about, who is speaker, who is not speaker. Honorable Richard Nagbekun has officially being elected by his folks, by his colleagues. He's now the Speaker of the House of Representatives. We're not talking about the House of Representatives saga anymore, but Senator Connor is saying, we want to know what happened to the Capitol building. Who burned the Capitol building? Anthony, welcome to the show. Who burned the Capitol building? Why did the person do it? Why are we not seeing people being handcuffed and being brought down guilty? What's the status of the investigation so far? These are critical questions that Senator Amara Connor is asking. And he went on to call on the Liberian Senate to invite the Liberian National Police, the Ministry of Justice, and the Liberian National Fire Service to bring them up to speed with the status of the investigation or the ongoing investigation into the Capitol building saga. Is this a call that is timely? Is this something we should be talking about at the moment? Or should we leave the investigation up to the experts, the people who are conducting the investigation, so that they do their work? Should we give them the time, the space, in line with what the investigation calls for to do their job? Or are we trying to rush them into the whole investigation? Well, that's another major conversation that's been in the corridor in the course of the week. And Moba. Then comes in the president's travel to ECOWAS 50th how do you call it, anniversary or celebration, and he goes on an escort on a private jet. He comes back to the country, and there's a situation. Hard landing took place. One of the tires on the aircraft punch off, and there's a major conversation now around why did we find ourselves at that place in the first place. Now, the major concern now is that the president's safety was at risk. His life was at risk, and we're talking about the first citizen of the country. Why could we have done it better to prevent what happened at the Rabat International Airport? All these conversations are in the corridors. Well, there are conversations now that some action should be taken by the president. Well, it's been over 24 hours, or maybe we say 48 hours since the incident occurred. Well, their analysis and different conversations that, look, the president should set a precedent by taking some actions, maybe fire some individuals. But we saw a release from the RIA, from the Aviation Authority. We're going to look at all of that. Then you talk about the CDC situation. Of course, you cannot discuss the real issues without looking at this. There was a bit of information before the court on this property issue, the eviction of the CDC. The Supreme Court withheld or dismissed the bit of information. And the question now is the CDC going to remain in that particular vicinity, or are we going to see the CDC relocated? Why do we always find this with major political parties in the country? Maybe I want to go back a little, Anthony. And Moba, maybe we should go back a little to what happened with the Unity Party. Now, I know you guys remember that when the Unity Party left power, the CDC came to power. The Unity Party was right opposite where we have our office. And what happened? What didn't happen? Long story short, the Unity Party was removed from that headquarters. The Unity Party got stranded at some point. And different information has it that there were some interventions by some people within the party. And they're now on Broad Street. But what happened with the CDC? Are we seeing a repeat with the Unity? What happened with the Unity Party? Sorry. Are we seeing a repeat with the CDC here? Now is the CDC. The CDC is out of power. Just less than 3 months after President George Weah himself went on the grounds of the CDC to launch a dollar rally to sustain the party that was in power for 6 years, now comes a ruling from the Supreme Court. What's going to happen next? We hope the guys, Vasco, George, and the rest of the guys, our CDC folks on the show will come on tonight. But it's just been a whole lot happening one after another. But what we're hearing from the from what we are hearing from the landlord is that we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. What we are hearing is that this landlord, Dempster, is requesting if the CDC wants the property, they should pay 4.5 million. Is the CDC in the position for this? What's the fate of the CDC with respect to the whole party headquarters thing? And maybe we should make some analysis around that. But I want to say welcome to everyone. We hope we can have the time to flip through all of the issues here tonight. And then we can get the conversation going on. Mama, I want us to start the show from here. And let's go back a little. Let's start with Senator Snowe, his comment, and the communication from the information minister and the senator's outburst, especially in session, when he said he doesn't feel safe, he doesn't feel secure. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. Look, I think as a leader in the position you get, it is bounding to say certain things as a leader. First of all, you were ECOWAS, and you're not that like an ordinary person. You work in the Senate, and you representing Liberia outside. You with ECOWAS. So sometimes when you say things, it carry weight. You may see it like probably it's a political tune on the tune, or maybe people will say, anybody can say it. Yes, anybody can say it. Today, Ascal Gray can say that and say, I want the government to fail. Nobody care about Ascal Gray. President Weah can say that and say, I want for the government to fail. The former president, nobody cares about George Ross saying you want the government to fail. But if somebody who working in the Senate and you representing your country outside, and you say things that it carry weight. That's why people don't understand the difference. They come and say, oh, so it because it is this. I mean, when Snow said this, what it mean, blah, 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 blah. But next thing, we're looking at the weight. If you sit on a public radio and you say, I pray, the word, he even say, I want, he say, I pray. You can play it over and over. He say, I pray for the government to fail. I pray for the government to fail. Next thing, people don't understand the main thought or the idea in our identical sentence. Now, when they come out, they just say, "Oh, anybody can say what they want to say." We agree, but no, it's not anybody. That's where the problem coming from.
If we have a situation where the Constitution guarantees freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Don't you think the senator was exercising freedom of speech here? That though he's at ECOWAS, though he represents the country there, and then you could go and name all of the other things, but that he's a Liberian citizen and he deserves the right. He has the right constitutionally to express himself.
Nelson, it's just like how we put it. Nelson, look. Except my brother Anthony won maybe female that we bought.
No, we're not Anthony here.
If you as a government official, right? You in the house as a senator and you representing the country outside, like in ECOWAS, right? Yeah. You represent the Liberian people, right? And then you come up, you make statement that it's not right, Nelson. It's not right. If to say Snow like ordinary person. When last you see people going
Mobile, can you hear me? Okay, so I think Mobile has
somebody call his phone.
Yeah, some connection issues. So let me see if I can get Mobile out. Okay. And, but Anthony, where do you stand on this? Just before we transition.
Look, Nelson, first of all, good evening to the audience and good evening to our listeners on the radio and our follow on Facebook. and YouTube. Look, let me say this. I want to respectfully disagree with Mobile. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech.
Mhm.
What the senator said is not any way, shape, or form threatening the life of the president or making any kind of threat to this government. He wished the government fail,
Mhm.
or he prayed that the government fail. Mitch McConnell, then the majority leader of the Senate here in the United States, when Barack Obama, former president of the Republic of the United States, have just got sworn in.
Mhm.
The very first week, Mitch McConnell stood up on the Senate floor and said, "I wish Obama failed."
When you representing America in any part of the world, like
He was the head of the U.S. Senate.
I'm talking about in this. Oh man, I
Listen,
said
You know,
like
but
representing
let's
America
allow
on the global, not
let's
like
allow Anthony to land on this
anyway,
one.
do you
Let me
know?
walk you through,
Do
Joe.
you know who Mitch McConnell is? Mitch McConnell is not an ordinary person when it comes to America political landscape. This is the man who was the majority leader of the Republican Party, and the Republican were in charge of the Senate at the time. 1 week into Obama's first term in 2009, he said, "I wish Obama failed," and all the news media carried it. You did not see the White House putting out a statement of that kind. Look, Nelson, the statement out of the Ministry of Information, Culture, and Tourism was very reckless. Nelson, you will agree with me, or many listeners on the radio right now will agree with me that when something happens in the country, if the president make a statement, the president himself will not go out there to harm individuals, but his surrogates have the propensity of harming individuals. You understand? So when the ministry go out of her way to put out such a statement, it raises red flag and puts the senator in a dangerous position. So his outburst on the Senate floor was right. He wants his safety to be guaranteed by this administration. He is an opposition leader or opposition to this administration. And he also has an ambition, want to run for president and all of that different thing. He has his free will to say he wish or pray that the government fail. That is his wish. That is what he thinks. There is nothing threatening to the survivability of our nation.
But
This is the reason why. Now,
Anthony,
I
Anthony,
personally
let's
don't
do
want
this.
Let me
Can
get
you
clear.
hear me?
I personally
Anthony,
don't
can
want
you
this
hear me?
government to fail, right?
Anthony,
I personally don't
Anthony,
want this government to fail.
can you hear me? Am I muted?
Oh no, I can hear you.
Okay. You as an individual,
Mhm.
as an Anthony Gay,
Yes.
do you want this government to fail?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So why do you think it was right for a senator
Mhm.
of a county,
Mhm.
Liberia's eyes, ears, nose, or whatever at ECOWAS?
Mhm.
Liberia's representative,
Mhm.
one of the representatives of the country at ECOWAS,
Mhm.
to take on the public space to
Mhm.
say that he wished the government would fail? Why do you think it was right? Why do you think you, Anthony, you don't want the government to fail, but if the senator wants the government to fail, then it's right?
So Nayaba is right. I'm saying he has his right to express his opinion. I'm not
Okay.
saying
What
I'm
was
not
the
saying-
right? Was the right he has demonstrated the right way? I mean, it's one thing to have
he
a
has a
right.
free way to express himself. He did not do anything that violates the Constitution. That's the point I'm saying. Do I agree with what he's saying? Do I want, this government to fail? Absolutely not. Let me why. That's why I always tell people: if this government succeed, the next government that will take over after this government will have less work to do than what this current government is faced with. So, as a competitive person, I don't want this government to fail. I want the government to do some of the things. If we have an opportunity to come into power, so that we don't have to go back to those things. So, no, I don't hope the government fail. However, you cannot take away his constitutional right of free speech and freedom of expression. That's what he thinks, but he did not violate the Constitution. I saw the letter or the press release from the Ministry of information and culture and tourism, I found it very reckless because the position in that letter raising a red flag as though this man is planning to unconstitutionally remove this government from office, and that's not the case. All he expresses was his wish, or he said he prayed that the government fell. So I don't see what he said that is wrong here.
Okay.
He has the constitutional right to express his. Now, if he said that he will go after this president or any other person in government, then I want a different. That's a different level now. They implicates national security matter and other different things. Investigation had to be, or he had to be brought in for questioning. He didn't do none of those things. He said he wished or prayed that the government fell. What is the wrong? He said that. He's not in favor of this government. He wants an opportunity to become president. Do I wish the same for this government? Absolutely not. Any day I will tell you, I wish this government succeed. That's what many of the time when I speak, we give solution as to how the government should proceed. Focus on creating jobs, focus on education, focus on agriculture. We say those things. Okay. So I don't want this government to fail. But Senator Snowe did not say anything that worried the press release coming out of the government. That's the position I hold.
But just a final one, then we're going to take over to conclude, and then we get Emmy to come in. What do you make of his response to the government of Liberia's let's say the statement from the government, when he said he doesn't feel safe, he feels threatened by the government, and if anything happens to him, the government should stand ready to answer questions. And saying that, maybe we should pull up the communication here from Senator Snowe, from the government of Liberia, and maybe compare as to whether this communication weren't the kind of response that we saw from the senator, especially appearing on the floor of the Liberian Senate, asking his colleagues to take action because his life has been threatened. But go ahead, as I pull this up quickly.
No,
what do you make of this response?
I am not a fan of Senator Snowe. I fear those Senator Snowe and other lawmakers, including government officials, have created the mayhem for the Liberian people. I believe that strongly, that Senator Snowe and the rest of these lawmakers in Liberia, including the executive mansion, have created, previous government and current government have created this hardship, this man-made hardship in the country. We can minimize this man-made hardship if these guys go to work. Look, the other day, I saw on the Senate floor arguing about religious holiday when they're supposed to be putting on legislation that will benefit the living condition, improve the living condition of the people in Liberia, creating job opportunity or other stuff, investing into agriculture. But they're discussing what? Religious holiday. When the Constitution clearly states separation of church and state.
Thank you, Anthony. Moba, you want to zero in on this one because you were in flight?
Yeah, Nelson, let me just zero in on it. Look, I just found it disturbing that my brother would sit there and say people who work, to that type of high level of government and also represent their country can come out and say he want the government to fail, and then he back it because it's a constitutional. I mean, because it's not in the Constitution. It don't have to be in the Constitution. It's just a common sense. If you're working for a government, the government send you out there to go represent to go represent the Liberian people. You don't come back and say, I pray. You don't even say, maybe or what. You say, I pray for the government to fail. So what are you doing out there that we don't know about? What kind of lobby are you carrying on behind the scene that we don't know about, that you want the government to fail? That's a lot of questions that come with. We shouldn't come in and say, oh, because like freedom of speech, you're right, because it's not in the Constitution. I find it so difficult to understand that. It just come on.
Moba, was the response appropriate?
Nelson, I would say this, right? I saw some of these things they put over there. I think it's not right for him to put it there, like treason and all that stuff. I think Snowe never said that. Snowe never said that. What Snowe said,
and maybe look, Moba, maybe we should read the communication here to get exactly what the information ministry or the information minister is talking about. Now, because first of all, they start by saying that the government condemns the irresponsible inflammatory statement made by the Bowman County Senator and blah, blah, blah. It says, who is also a member of the ECOWAS Parliament, in which he vowed to use his connections as the sub-regional body, ECOWAS, to ensure the failure of the government of Liberia led by President Boakai. Mr. Snowe declared that he would do everything possible, including using his connections in ECOWAS, to make the Boakai-led government to fail, even if it means discouraging foreign direct investments to Liberia and making the country ungovernable and unstable until he, Snowe, becomes the president. This is in quote. The government of Liberia reminds Mr. Snowe and other officials who may hold similar thoughts that no citizen is licensed to undermine his or her own country and the government by vowing to use ECOWAS internal institution or other international organization to either promote their selfish ambitions or plots. So they say now that they're calling all sub-regional and international organizations to ensure that such plan by Mr. Snowe and his collaborators to undermine or destabilize the country is not actualized. I mean, just looking at the statement from the information ministry, is it in line? Does it correspond with what the senator said, Mova? Or is it a smart way of trying to get the senator off balance? So that since it's trying to, come in with something strong, then you come in with something stronger, then you get him off balance, and then you just get the whole stage message.
Nelson, look, we all understand, right? Certain time, when we say something, the interpretation, sometimes you may not mean probably it should be a negative, or whatsoever. But people who interpreting identical words or what you said, right? They interpret it different. That's how the government interpret it. And that's how they make it clear on that information. It's not what he said, but that's how they interpret his word, because he's working with ECOWAS. And he said he prayed for the government to fail. So praying for the government to fail now, the government say, okay, say you pray for us to fail, it's like you behind the scene lobbying for the government to not get no good thing, for the government to not go out there.
Someone may say that that's not what he said. He did not say it, as the way the words are coming out. Like, I will use my connection, I will love it, I will go every someone may say he didn't say those words.
Failure of the government can come from any way. Again, we can predict what Snowe mean. And you will come here, we not predict. So for me, my prediction is different from the government prediction. Other people predict it different. Snowe predict it different. That my brother said, in the constitution, so they may get it right to say what's, and he predict it different. So everybody's prediction is different. That's how the government predict, his statement. And to be frank, in line with what he said, because if you pray for the government to fail and you're in that position, that's where people questioning his position.
No.
Oh God.
Mova. The best interpreter of any speech is the person who presented the speech himself. All right? The best person to interpret what I say is me. How can you interpret what I said when I knew what was running through my mind when I said what I said?
Nelson, we living in a world that when people say something, we look behind what they say. We don't gotta go tell you say to their ear, then say, "Oh, what kind of sweet
But what do you make of his response when he say he doesn't feel secure with the government?
I think that's a sure. Nelson, nobody can do anything to Snowe. The senator in our country. The senator first of all have a bodyguard. He now they're walking by himself and get people who guide him. What was my man? Lord, that people shouldn't be saying that people be like, oh yeah, that. The common people all in our country said, they even get bodyguards. Still get bodyguards. People manage on a daily basis. Yeah, but I know what I'm saying here. I said make a bodyguard.
Thank you.
They make a bodyguard. He learn what I'm saying. He get bodyguard because he gets somebody who looking after him.
Thank you.
The common male, the common woman out there. No. So nobody that's charade. That thing that he want to back up, try to get his statement to be like, okay, you know what? You know, come up with a political side too. But end of the day, Nelson, I think he got to apologize to Liberian people and let them move on. Back on, be back on.
Thank you.
You shouldn't say the government, pray for the government to fail, then working with ECOWAS and in the Senate. He got a right to make concession deal that the country can benefit. To
all right.
law.
So, but Emmy, you want to come in on this one? Because we need a transition.
Sure, Nelson. Hey guys. Hey everyone in the comment section. Thank you for meeting us here after 2 weeks. And you know, many of you have been reaching out and we appreciate it. You know, every time we come here yelling in your ear, talking Tabata, won't let me don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. But you're here, you're listening. So as you guys are in Liberia, you're up and we really appreciate it. But now thing, I'm not a fan of Senator Snowe, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his statement was reckless. I would tell you that. But I don't think that what the Minister of Information put out there, I don't think it was necessary.
You think so?
Whatever he said.
Don't you think bad soul need bad medicine? You know, high-headed soul need high-headed medicine, and maybe the information was strategic on that.
Of course, if the soul is bad, but the other soul, I don't think it was that bad. You could shut it off. Why he said something? We also said that we have freedom of speech in Liberia, right? Mm-hmm. And you're responsible for what you say. We get that, but he being in opposition and he being a senator, he also standing, you know, right to public scrutiny, right, for whatever he says. And that's why some of us came on here and beat him up for what he said. But to say what he said was in any way treason or whatever, for me, I don't see that. Right. But I can also understand why the government would say something like that, because the position he holds, right, representing them outside the country. I can also understand why they would say, well, if this guy is praying for this to happen, what is he doing out there? Why he's representing? Is he really, you know, seeking our benefits? I mean, our what's best for the country? Or what is he doing? Is he just sitting there and doing anything because he want the government to fail? I can understand why they would think that, right? And the only thing you can do about that is if you have the constitutional right to remove him, you just do it. Because I don't want to work with someone who wants to undermine me, who wants to see me do bad instead of, you know, helping me to do better. But what I say, they want to bring war, they want to kill me, or they want to overthrow my government. I don't think what all you just read in that something, maybe it was different time, but I really did not hear Senator Snowe say all of those things. And if he said it, it would be wrong. Then they had the right to, you know, do and say whatever they said. But I did not hear him saying that he would do everything in his.
But I mean, do you really have to say that, or are we seeing the information minister now at this point interpreting what Senator Snowe said, going beyond just what was coming through his lips, but trying to go a bit further, a step further, you know, to analyze the statement, analyze his position, and preempt what could be happening? Don't you think that probably was where the information minister came from?
Well, that's what I said. I could understand why they would think that he would want to use his power outside and influence whatever decision that has to be made to the ECOWAS for Liberia, to make it look like the government did not try. But it's no, you see, this is why I also say in Liberia, that people in Liberia feel like when they say government, it's just the president and his ministers and stuff. No, it's also part of the government. So if they're sitting there and talking about government failing, you are also a part of that. If you are supposed to be over there to make to do the right thing, concession deals or whatever comes to the country, the president cannot just go get investors and bring them. I mean, according to Anthony Ney here, he has to come and pass through them and do concession or whatever deals and all of those things, right? They have to pass those things, right? So if he's there and being an opposition to that, I mean, he's an opposition senator. That is, I don't see anything wrong with that. That's what it do. But he coming out and speaking on it and say that this is why he prayed that this will happen. This is why I had a problem with him, because I told her, if you praying that the government failed, you're not gonna feel it. You're not feeling it. All of y'all in that house, whatever, Capitol Hill, not feeling it. You getting healthy lump sum of money every month, gas slip, you done to your cook in your houses are getting paid by the government, which I don't understand why. And then you have the innocent people out there are hustling, scrambling to make to make ends meet, and you come out and say you want a government to fail. When that happens, who does it affect? Not the president. Okay. The president and his family would be fine. The president and his ministers would be fine. The innocent people are those who this will affect. And then you stay on the floor and say that, oh, my life is threatened. What the information minister said either did not anywhere threaten his life either. And then he calling on Liberian people. Oh, you calling on these Liberian people now that you were praying to suffer because you won't be relevant 2029. You calling on him now because they're telling you, say you're trying to overthrow government. This is why I come on here, Nelson, and I get mad when people come here talking about rule of law when it comes to these politicians, and then they want to make things like, oh, you're supposed to do the right thing, so, because it's just all about them. Snowe wasn't thinking about these people when he was making that reckless statement about government failing. He wasn't thinking about them, even though they are going to be the ones to suffer when that happens. But now let's say, oh, he's threatening to overthrow the government, or he committed a treason and something. Oh, I want a Liberian port or something. I want international community. Everybody should stop what they're doing now, because Senator Snowe has been accused of something. But when it comes to the Liberian people, to hell with them. Let's just say whatever we want to say or do whatever.
Well, thanks a lot, Amy, and I want us to transition now.
Nelson, before we transition, can I have 30 seconds on this topic, please? Something I did not say that came to mind.
Okay, yes, just quickly.
So Nelson, here's the thing here, right? When the government put out a statement that it amplified throughout the country, the surrogates of the government found a reason to believe that yes, indeed, they have a reason to do anything. So you will not find the Minister of Information out there trying to harm Snowe. But a surrogate can harm Snowe. You understand? That is the reason why it's very important when things like that happen. I like the fact that Snowe did not keep quiet, even though I'm not a fan of his. But he brought it to the public there and said, my life, my everything is in your hand. So anything happened to him, you're responsible because you are in charge of the national security of the country. The government is in charge of that. Snowe is not in charge of that. He may be on committees, but he's not in charge. So if the government putting out a statement that, oh, he's doing something to, if the government decides to put an overhead bridge, how can Snowe stop it? If the government decides to put 2 or 3 runways right now at the airport, how can Snowe stop it? If the government decides to, invest into agriculture and aggressive, approach to agriculture to create, food sufficiency and all of that different thing, how can Snowe stop that?
But Snowe can also fight for the budget to go off for all those things.
No, Snowe 1 vote. He has 1 vote.
He can love it. I mean to be a lawyer.
Yeah, but the government got more people.
So that my man, you hold.
Why
you
you
hold
always
Bush,
try to find a
Bush called rope. Did that thing? That we in the age of where you president said this, everybody say yes to it.
But he's not a president, so how is he stopping your government from running?
Okay, so guys, I want us to transition at this point and just take a look at this for a moment. We all woke up to this on the 18th of December. I think there's an issue with my network, the connection or whatever, because I'm noticing that there's a little bit of delay here, but I think it's gonna be okay. But we all woke up to this on the 18th of December. The Capitol building got at fire, and since that time, there has been more concerns. There has been questions. And fingers have been pointed at people from different sides. On one occasion, you hear people say, oh, probably apparently, or maybe that the people from the other side, from the majority bloc. And on another occasion, you hear people say, oh, maybe that the people that were part of the minority bloc, or maybe somebody came from somewhere and carried on the act. And so this particular issue with the burning of the Capitol building has sparked some serious concerns, leaving a lot of people so eager to know as to what exactly happened on the grounds of the legislature. Well, the state security took seizure of the matter. They've been investigating. Up until January, we saw foreign investigators came to the country. Initially, the police, the fire service, they did their investigation, and their investigation disclosed that it was an arson attack, which means somebody intentionally, knowingly set the Capitol building ablaze. But who exactly did the act is what the police investigation at the time did not disclose. And then when the foreign investigators came, their report correspond, was sort of in line with what the Liberian National Police disclosed. That indeed it was some sort of arson attack. There was incendiary use, to carry on the act. They had their own detailed investigation they did with respect to the burning down of the Capitol building. We saw a couple of arrests were being made. Thomas Idris, there were recordings that came out alleging that some lawmakers were involved. The Liberian National Police invited some lawmakers. We followed and saw all of those different activities. When the former Speaker Kofa was invited, Representative Sibo was invited, and a lot of other lawmakers. In the midst of everything we're talking about here, Senator Amara Kane on Tuesday, that was on Thursday, did a communication to the plenary of the Liberian Senate, requesting that body to invite the police, the fire service, the immigration service, and all relevant institutions that were connected to this, as far as investigation is concerned, to say as to where we are with the investigation surrounding the Capitol building. What happened to the Capitol building? Demanding answers to the many questions that so many Liberians have with respect to the burning down of the Capitol building. But now, at this point, the main concern now remains, is this call timely in the first place? Are we trying to jump this investigation? Are we trying to unnecessarily speed up this investigation? Or is the senator just on point here? Should we be in a position at this point where we say, okay, let's give the people time, let them take as long as they want to carry on the investigation, since in fact investigation in some cases will require time? I mean, let's go into this conversation a bit.
You can start with me. I was not believing I get that.
From December 18 to now, it's going to be from December, we're entering June tomorrow. It's going to be almost 6 months. So about 5 months down the line, the conversation about the Capitol building fire has resurfaced.
Wow, it's been that long?
Yeah.
About 5 months.
Time flies.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Nelson. Look, the whole issue here is, you see, Liberia, we politicize everything. And I think we reach to a point that even when it comes to serious matter, people politicize it. When people dying, people will say politicize it, because that's how Liberia now feel. Somebody go and burn your Capitol building, and people say, oh, it was like electronic fault, all those things that were wire, all these things. And according to you, when the investigator went there, they did their jobs and it came out. They said yes. Somebody put the place on fire. Now the police get people in custody. When the whole thing started, opposition said they think that the government went and put that place on fire. Then second, they changed their tune. They said the Capitol building very old, it rotting, so all that thing it catch on fire by itself. There were a lot of contradiction from them. But actually, Nelson, I want the government to catch people. I want the government to bring people to check, to book. I want the government to carry on thorough investigation. Because you see, all the people who they caught now in prison, they just go there and put fire there by themselves. Someone confess, people say they torture. They are not torture, that things that went on. Look, we're living in a modern world. If you do something, there will be no way they will not catch you. Or much won't get a sophistication in Liberia, right? But through your phone, through your communication, you can go to Lone Star and get your investigation in order and see who the person communicate with. And you will know exactly the time, what was the conversation, what the relationship between you and the person, all the things can be established. We don't know if the police are already established all the facts. And that's why they were calling a lot of lawmakers for caution. The opposition said they would take the street to go demonstrate. Like Nelson, sometimes I just sit down and think, it's how we run our country. It's how we run the entire nation. On every day when people do things, when they go to court, they say that it's so political. People come and say things, burning of Capitol building. They catch a lot of people. They bring them, they confess. People say they were tortured, but we see no mark on them. We see no mark because we no torture. People say, oh, okay, say they got torture, right? Because when they torture you, they are either mark on you or manner on you. And if manner on you, meaning you get internal bleeding because they will beat you. And all the things will be, you got to go to the hospital for checkup, but all the things, we never saw it. But people just make all their story and come on and say they were tortured. So based on that, they were able to lie on all the one. It's not how it works. If things happen, it's not right. Let all Liberians come together, join hands, and do it. It's just because of power greed. That's why they brand that place. Power greed. They're only there for themselves. They push you to do things, and now they move on beyond you. You go to prison. Even when you spend 2-3 years in prison before they come back in power to free you, you're left 3 years out of your life, to your age. You know what you miss outside? You gotta be smart. Don't let politicians fool you to go out there and destroy. Don't let politicians fool you to go out there and attack your brother and sister because they're giving you scratch card and giving you 2 cents. Then you happy.
We all woke up in the morning and saw the flames cutting our place of work, particularly where the President of the Republic comes to address us and the country on the state of the nation. It's taking too long for us to know what happened. And we should do everything possible to know what happened, take the necessary action before we put resources there, so that the President can come here in January of next year and address us in a place where the Constitution says he should address us. This is my plea to you. I know that fire incidents, the investigation can take a while. We've seen stuff in the media, but as the elders in this building, we've been advised not to react to everything we see in the media. So it's important for them to come to us, to tell us here in this plenary where we are with the fire investigation, so that all of us can work together, both executive and legislature, to prevent this from happening.
Yes, Nelson, and let me that conclude so my sister can come in.
I think the purpose of that mic is for them to sit down, not to be holding it up like that.
We'll get there, small. We'll get there.
They can't spend money on that audio system. That the reason why they had to do all of that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
You have a printer.
We'll get there, my man. We'll get there.
When?
We'll get, but Nelson, let me that conclude on this issue, right?
Yeah,
the senator raised a very great point. Let the people come, the investigator and the police chief, whosoever, let it come and answer some questions. What is the status of the case? Who all been involved? How it look? What is the fund? The perpetrator who carry on the act? How the investigation? So these are questions we want to know. How the investigation will carry on. These are questions I want to know, Nelson, and I'm gonna commend the senator for that. I respect him for that identical, inviting them to carry on that identical or scrutiny. And again, Nelson, it is wrong for every nation, everything based on politics. And end of the day, people will come and
Thank you.
protect themselves. They didn't think about the country, but they're only protecting themselves. Thank you. I will join you. Maybe that's
Okay.
20 minutes. Yeah, I will join you.
Thank you. Anthony, you want to go ahead? Let's hear you on this one.
Nelson, I'm disappointed in this administration.
Okay.
Series of investigations have taken place already, and the Liberian people don't know what has happened. All we saw, people got dismissed from that position. That's it. One notable one was a situation with LDEA. One of the Fatiga brothers and his boss, A.B. Kroma. That was a national issue. We saw the altercation between the two, and they were released of that post-pending investigation, and finally, they got replaced. The Liberian people don't know what happened there. This administration then campaign on the level of Kush. That Kush were taking the life of young people, destroying their life, and they were coming to fight, this illicit drug. To symbolize it, the president went and took a drug test. To tell the Liberian people that he meant well and he was committed to fight drugs. That investigation, we don't know what happened to it. There are other investigations that took place. We don't know what happened to it. The national symbol, the Capitol building, got it on fire. Shocked the whole country. We have a 14.5-year civil war. That building will never touch. And for people to wake up to that kind of smoke, it shattered the mind of many. It's been over 4 months since that happened. Even the fire service people that came from the US, it was after a month plus before they were taken to Liberia or invited to Liberia, whatever the case was.
But Anthony, what do you
I am
think
disappointed.
What do you think is happening here?
Nelson, if this administration is serious for change in Liberia, they'll lay down the foundation from day one that, hey, when this happened, this is what we are all about. We're not going to give excuses. This is not business. Just like the president said in his previous interview before taking office with VOA, no more business as usual. We are still having business as usual, Nelson. The same behavior we have seen in previous administration. Nothing have changed. It's the same tactics. Investigation is not free. That taxpayer dollar being spent. If they should bring out the investigation report of how much money have been spent on those very investigations, the Liberian people will even get angrier because you know what? That's too much money being spent on the so-called investigation by you to nothing. Investigation has to have a closure. Where is the closure here? The Liberian people demand closure. We are sick and tired of investigation after this war now is overrated in Liberia. Every time investigation. And guess what? Nothing happens. Other people lose. Even if somebody resign or get fired from a job, it's not the end of it. So somebody embezzle the country money and they get fired from it, that's it. They have to be held accountable. The Capitol building cannot be burned in a nation where the police was in charge the day before the fire took over that building. The police was in charge. The IG is seen on national TV or national platform that they are in charge of the building. I didn't say it. He said it. So take his word for it. Not my word.
Thank you, Anthony. Emmy, you want to come in on this one? The senators, we transition quickly.
So first of all, I'd like to commend the senator for bringing this up because it looks like this is something that we have stopped hearing about when after few arrests of common people, like I like to call it, and the big people, like they call them, working government, even though we heard their names being attached to it, but none of them in handcuffs. Because why? The same old Liberian people. Political party protect us. These people that come and ruin their lives, calling them their leaders and their political leaders and their standard bearers, come and just most of them just all about themselves, right? And their families. And their lives don't change at all. It doesn't move from point A to point B. Somebody can come after lavishing a whole entire fortune. Still, this person's still walking around looking like you and myself, but they believe this person got 100 billion because he once had it. You didn't see all of the luxurious lives that he's living now, but all of a sudden you believe that he had those money. After he took over your state caucus, his whole life changed. And all we hear about every day is the individuals and his friends that are calling to people, couldn't even afford to rent apartments. They are millionaires passing around. And then when people tell you, or investigators, or people, foreigners tell you that these people are stealing from you, they do this, they did that. And then you'll have the same innocent Liberian people who children are not even, some of them children are not even in school. Some of them can't even afford to send 4 kids to school at the same time. Or the one coming up to defend these people. Why? Because they gave me 1 bag of rest. When my mom was in the hospital, I went there, they gave me $50. God help us. Sometimes I don't really blame them, but sometimes I expect people to really think about, what am I losing, right? For a lifetime, and for the little that I'm getting now, is it important that I make that sacrifice and stand up for my generation, for what will benefit my family? Or is there that little bag of rice now, or that $50, or even $1,000? You will not have that $1,000 for the 6 years or 9 years. Senators or was a representative says yes, but that these people are being powerful. There was still more than that from you, from what they do. And you stand there when they call them for investigations. They pay these people $10, $20 to go stand in the sun and say they're there to defend their lawmakers. They're there to defend that this and that. It's sad. We can come here and blame the government also, but with all these so-called politicians and political analysts too, on radios, on talk shows, this had the propensity of bringing war. This is where we came from, our civil war, and they need to be something. When the government is holding people accountable, these people come on radios, on talk shows, and come here and try to beat war drums because we have 14 years of civil war, so Liberia shouldn't be straightened up. So we shouldn't do the right thing anymore. When the government is doing the right thing, then they are hunting the opposition, their opponent. They are hunting them down. Then these same people will want to come up and tell us that, the government is not doing investigation, they're not doing it, but when they start to do it, it's witch hunting your opponent. I don't get it. What do we want? That's when I saw this Capitol building in flame that morning. I never grew up in Liberia, but for some reason, it was like I was looking at something like my personal investment going in flame. I got a bit emotional. And I'm like, really? Like, really, these people only care about themselves and not the country. Like, because of their powers, their whatever jobs are at risk, so they will go this far to do that to the country.
But I mean,
not everybody feels that way.
Everything we've seen now, with everything that's transpired, Emmy, do you think it's necessary for Senator Cannon to be calling for speedy investigation, or should we give the investigators the chance to do their job, to investigate?
No, I don't think by the senator. No, I don't think by the senator saying that he's standing in anybody's way of doing the investigation. Maybe he's not hearing anything about it. Maybe he's just trying to wake them up if they're sleeping.
No, he's saying that
they just want to know that if they are actually still investigating it. But by he coming up and calling for this, I don't think he's in any way standing in anybody's way to say, all the police have to do, or whoever investigating this thing has to do is to just let them know what they are doing and where they stand. That's all I see today. I don't think he's trying to force them to double up and this, that, and that. No. I'm pretty sure he's not hearing anything about it, like us. That's why he's bringing that up. It's in the kind of
new and I want us to get this. The senator at one point said, they need to know where the investigation is, and then on another angle, he says they've heard a lot in the media about the investigation. But they being the elders, they need to know exactly what's happening from the house's mouth. And that's why he wants the police, the fire service, and the Ministry of Justice to appear to say exactly what was going on with the investigation.
That's exactly what I just said, Nelson. We heard, even us, we've seen a lot of stuff in the news. Like Anthony said, none of us know what the investigation is now. Right now, I'm afraid. I hope the government did not. This wasn't one of a package that was included in a deal. I would really be disappointed if that was, because I think this is, if they have not come up with any investigation, any closure to any investigation in our country, this should be the one. You cannot do this and get away with it. This would be just like setting a precedent that anybody can just get up and just throw a tantrum because they're not getting anything and gets away with it. And that is not a good something to say in our country. I know they are gotten away with a lot, and we sit and agree to it, but this is in no way of going back to 1980. There's our so-called educated people sit on platform and want you to know that once, because you beat somebody in the election, you're not supposed to investigate and want to do something wrong. Once you do that, then I mean you witch hunting, and this is how our world started. This is how our this. Those are all. That's why I think Liberians' education is just to destroy their country and themselves, because all these things they're talking. There's no way in any country that because you beat somebody in an election and they're mad, they're passing around their head chicken and try to do everything for you to fail, for you to do that. Say, there's too much noise in the country. I think the president should unite. I think the president should do that. I think what about the wrong that is being done? So he should just let it go because there's noise in the country? No, I don't think that's a good thing to do. If the only thing that it would be wrong to do if the president is just going after all the investigators, whoever security or something that in charge of this, are just going on and witch hunting people who did not do anything, then yes, that would be the wrong thing to do. But if they did something, that's what they need to be transparent with every investigation and everything to do. So when they come up with these narratives of witch hunt and bringing war, and I have people went in the bush and all of that, so the Liberian people can see it, and the only people whom accept it will be their
Thank you.
Political party people or whatever who feed and breed on political parties and our leaders.
Thank you, Emmy. Now, something very interesting happened today, and this is what I want us to transition on, Anthony. Throughout the saga and everything we saw with the impasse at the House of Representatives, there were calls from different organizations, different institutions, and even individuals that there was a need for the Liberia Council of Churches to get involved. And the Council of Churches at some point got involved, and they played their part somehow, some way, to resolve this impasse we saw at the House of Representatives. Family, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You're sleeping. You just joined the show.
The tension or the impasse at the House of Representatives is now gone. The house quiet now. No noise to that hall again. Nobody talking about who legal speaker, who not legal speaker. All that thing is not passed now. The whole country quiet. But this is where we are. Now, the Council of Churches is a respectable body or organization in the country. The council is expected to be a unifier. In the midst of all the issues, even in the midst of the civil war we are in this country, the Council of Churches was there as that body, a lot of people will look up to. But they decided to have some award ceremony. They decided to, recognize some special personalities in the country. They wrote a lot of people. But amongst those people that were rating, that should have been honored today, were former Speaker J. Fonati Kofa and current Speaker Richard Nangbe Kun. Those are the people who should have been certificated or honored today by the Liberia Council of Churches and a lot of other people. I mean, there are other people there too, but forgive me if I don't go through the whole listing here. But as per what the council released, the Speaker of the 55th Legislature, Honorable Richard Nagwekun, should have been awarded, or he was awarded today. He was given the award of Statesmanship Award. He was given the Statesmanship Award. Yeah, Statesmanship Award.
Okay.
And the next award, another award, was to be given to Honorable J. Fonati Kofa. And the award is called Advocate for Justice and Rule of Law. So he was to be given the award titled Advocate for Justice and Rule of Law. This is interesting, guys. Now, and I don't know how the Council of Churches came up with this. And maybe, just in case, any of the Council of Churches member or whatever you're listening, you don't hold me in contempt for the one. You're free to
question
you can call on the show to provide whatever clarity. But me, I'm saying it the way I see it, and the one before me, the information I get, that's why I'm giving out here. So, and I don't know how they came up with the award, but the award that should have gone to Honorable J. Fonati Kofa was Advocate for Justice and Rule of Law. And for Honorable Kun, the Speaker, Statesmanship Award. Now, if you go back to the speakership saga, Honorable J. Fonati Kofa has been that man who has pushed for the rule of law. He has said repeatedly that the law is the law. I don't care about what I want to do, but you do it the right way. The law is the law. Was it based on that the Council of Churches said, look, since this saga over, we'll give you Advocate for Justice and the Rule of Law award? But guys, something happened. Speaker Kun accepted the invite from the Liberia Council of Churches. He honored their invitation, and he was in attendance today, and he was awarded. Former Speaker J. Fonati Kofa did not honor the invite from the Liberia Council of Churches. In fact, he said he declined the award on grounds that he doesn't merit the award. He said he doesn't merit the award. So, because of that, he could not accept the honor that was given to him. But are we seeing something beyond just a award thing here? Is this the aftermath of the impasse at the House of Representatives that we're seeing continuing here? That, okay, everything is over, but maybe the way you treated me in the midst of the fight, I thought that you are not neutral. You took a side. You didn't support me. And so because of that, look, I'm not okay with you. I'm not cool with you. I'm not going to go with you. I mean, what's happening here? Why did former Speaker J. Fonati Kofa decline the award that should have been given to him today by the Liberia Council of Churches? Now, Anthony, remember, this is the Liberia Council of Churches. Let's hear your take on this one.
Listen, I want to publicly salute the councillor for declining. This LCC, the Liberian Council of Churches, in my opinion, they are more political than religious.
Why do you think so?
Their actions speaks louder.
What action?
Not just this issue here. They sat there, the president of the Republic of Liberia disregarded the Supreme Court ruling. They didn't say anything. Religious teaches us uprightness. To be upright. That's why it teaches us. Ethical principle and moral values. That's why it teaches us. It does not teach us to sit there and be complacent and condone bad behavior. You understand? It teaches us how to uphold rules and regulations.
You're talking about religion now.
Second Timothy 3:16. 2 Timothy 3:16. That the word of God is divine and is there to teach us, to rebuke us, and all the different things goes down. I'm paraphrasing, but the rightful scripture is 2 Timothy 3:16. Those of you in the audience now, you can in the comment section, you can check that scripture now if I'm making up story here. Now see, they are part of the problem in Liberia. The Liberian Council of Churches are part of the problem in Liberia. I want to take it too far. I want to be on record. They are very corrupt.
Look. Anthony.
Corruption, you don't have to go.
We are talking about a reputable institution here. And this is a grave allegation you're raising against the Council of Churches.
And I can back the allegation up.
A quick disclaimer, Anthony. This is your view,
of my statement.
and you are liable for whatever consequences, whether spiritually or physically, with you. All right, this doesn't represent my view, nor the view of the show or the institution. But where do you come from?
And I want to be on record for that. Corruption does not necessarily mean one has to go and break a bank, steal a fellow money, or all of that. Your actions can be deemed corrupt. You understand? Your action and inaction can be deemed corrupt. This group has done a lot of bad things to Liberia. They sit there and see things happening. They don't say anything. Where were they when we were looking for people to stand up? Again, 2 Timothy 3:16. The Bible that they represent teaches us to uphold rule of law, to be responsible of our actions, not to share blame with other people, except our wrong. Even 1 John 1:9 says, if you confess your sin, and say if you push your sin away, or if you give a condition. That same verse 10 says, if you say you are not sin, then the truth is not in you. God is faithful and just to forgiving our sin, 1 John 1:9. But if we also say that we are not sin, then the truth is not in us. This Bible, they carry the Bible every day. But that behavior is very corrupt.
Anthony.
Look at the way what again, Richard Coon. It's statesmanship for Richard Coon, who was purported as a speaker when you know he was not speaker. A Richard Coon who confessed and said, yes, the removal of Fanatic Cover was SY. I mean, that is saying Richard Coon that you awarding statesmanship? Seriously?
Is he not a statement right now? Is he not a statement as we speak? Okay. Sorry.
Anthony, hold on.
Anthony, let's do this. Let's
demonstrate. He needs to demonstrate. No, listen, Richard Coon needs to demonstrate that he is that leader. First of all, look how Richard Coon embarrassed or defeated when he went to the Sierra Leone embassy. Did you see Richard Coon embarrassing all day again?
No, Anthony, I want us to come back. I want us to come back to this award. For Honorable Kofa, advocate for justice and the rule of law. What was his position during this whole saga? The law is the law. Let the law be the law. And he insisted. Everybody said forget it. He said no, the law must be the law. Till he got a ruling from the Supreme Court in his favor. The law was the law. Council of Churches said, so in your case, we'll give you the award. What's the award? Advocate for justice and the rule of law. Because he was all in for the law. For Speaker Kun, they said, you've been wanting the speakership. You got a speakership now. You are a statesman, and we'll give you the statesmanship award. What in this makes the Council of Churches corrupt, as you're saying?
So just look at the trait.
Why do you think Honorable Kofa declined the award?
And I salute him for declining the award because when the ruling was headed down by the Supreme Court, the president disregarded the ruling. They didn't follow they didn't restore his security detail for weeks, and then finally, Kofa asked them to have a proper electoral process that will bring in a speaker, which of course they did. And when Kofa resigned, the same Richard Kumwa they gave a statementship for article also saying resigning. You never had a speakership. What are you resigning for? Again, Nelson, you don't have to steal physically for somebody for you to be corrupt. Their actions seem corrupt.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. You want to go on this one, Fambole, and then we're going to bring Emmy in. And just in case you've been following the discussion, if not, then we can bring
Look, Nelson, I don't want to delay anymore because I was in my sleep. I was in my third dream. When I heard Anthony's voice, I said, no, I have to wake up from that sleep and come because I know he's part of this campaign of misinformation and disinformation, and he always on the other end. Look, let me just start by saying, they see Bible that you're quoting here, they Bible here. It is also written that George so ye shall not be judged. You sitting on a show here, Anthony, and you calling other people to be corrupt. Religious leader in your country, you calling them to be corrupt. When yesterday, these were the same religious leader that your ANC man knelt down and wasted a whole bottle of oil on his head.
What does that have to do with my conviction?
No, wait. Who wasted the oil on
my conviction?
No, guys, wait. Because Anthony, if you say that people corrupt and they waste that holy oil on your stand-up bearers, then it raises concern.
This guy,
we need a school that goes to the churches for that 1%.
Because since the men want to go biblical, even in the Bible they say, "Well,
you can't read about the Bible."
I come in. The anointing or the oil, beer to his garment. So if they wasted the oil on your stand-up bearer head, then it means that so now oil roll down to the garment. Maybe somewhere you are around the chest or the waist or wherever, so they all touch you. So if the oil was when the corrupt people, so but that's another discussion for another day. But you want to go ahead, family on this.
Look, brother, leave me alone, man. I'll have a hat and I say.
Look, so that's the reason why there's the whole hypocrisy. You see, our leaders will just be who they are. And look, if you are not into spiritual things, do not discuss spiritual matters. For me, I can tell you, I am not holy. And I will not sit on any platform to denigrate people of God. There's a reason why they call them. So where were you last year or a few years ago when those same people were lying out on the feet of President Weah? This was the same council of churches leadership that were getting baptized under the feet of President Weah. And you, Anthony, your political party.
I spoke against it. I have a video to that, but I don't want to interrupt.
Wait a minute, but you anywhere ANC here in the cookie jar, anytime I live it or you won't be making noise. Your political party that was spearheaded by Musa Hassan Benedict went along with your whole crew and pledged their loyalty to CDC. So I don't know, you don't have any moral ground to even judge or to say anything concerning the council of churches. And more besides, there's the argument. The award, if you don't see it, for me, I see it from a point of reconciliation. Because this is the biggest form, and anytime you see the church want to reconcile, they try to bring the two opposite divides both in and bring it to the table, and they give nothing or just. And the title of that wasn't a giving Funati. It was
so the award is what's the award? So the award is Advocate for Justice and Rule of Law.
Absolutely. Advocate for justice and rule, and that's exactly why he held the country hostage for a year and for months. He said he was doing that because he wanted the rule of law. He wanted the law should be the law. And we say, okay, no problem. It comes to churches. I'll say, okay, fine. We recognize your fight for the rule of law, and we say, okay, this is it. But today, I don't want for Anthony to always sit on the platform and keep saying that the president disregard the ruling from the Supreme Court. This is something that the opposition and the likes of Anthony have always been running around. The president acknowledged the ruling of the Supreme Court, but with some exception and consideration, the president was very clear. He spoke English. I don't know how Anthony is speaking oral here and you thinking you can fool some of us. The president spoke English. The president said we acknowledge the ruling from the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court, in their own wisdom, did not even tell us what constitutes a quorum. So we know that the argument at the House of Legislature is not over, and that was true. And you saw happy.
Famole. That's a long haul there. Why do you think Honorable Kofa declined the award from the Liberia Council of Churches?
Look,
let's make some analysis here.
Look, when
Speaker Koo accepted his award, Honorable Kofa declined his award.
Look, when your grandma cook beans toboggi soup to your horse, and then your grandma call you and your brother who are fighting from in the morning to in the evening, and your grandma say you can't eat, and you say because your grandma call the other friend first before you, and you say you don't want to eat, your grandma going rub behind you can't eat. That's your choice. If you want to eat,
it's not the same scenario.
Hey, my man, wait a minute. Now you come and tell me what to say here. Get pause yourself on that side. Whosoever, look, that is not forced. No money inside. Not nothing behind it. When they tell you say come for A, you say you want it, nobody running behind you for A. It's simple. Councilor Kofa is an adult. He's an educated man. And he knows his reason. And he's the best person who can tell why he refused it. If he say he does not merit it, if he because what you said, he said he doesn't merit the award, and that's fine. If you merit it, you're supposed to go for it. Then it is not binding. This is not something they say you must have it. So it is not a necessity of life. The Kofa can survive without that. He get water, he get other things to go focus on. So if he say he doesn't want it, it's okay. It's Speaker Kofa, Speaker Kun go for it. And he said, for me, I'm a state man. And he said, I will take it. If you wanted me, I will take it. I'll go ahead. That's it. Let's go on. That's not important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Emmy, you want to come in on this one?
Sure. So, what was your question again? Why?
Liberia Council of Churches. Liberia Council of Churches organizes an award or a program, decides to award the former speaker and the current speaker. For the former speaker, Advocate for Justice and Rule of Law, that was the award the Council of Churches set aside for him. He declined. Right. He said he thinks he doesn't merit the award and shouldn't be given to him. Speaker Kun, the Statesmanship Award. Now he went and he accepted his award. What do you think is happening here? Why do you think Councillor Kofa, the former speaker, declined his award? Now I know he said he doesn't merit it, but an award for Advocate for Justice and Rule of Law, and then considering his role in the past few months, the law is the law. What does it say when we find ourselves at this point, and now he's declining the award.
Now, see, I'm just gonna give a little. I think the council of churches is being disrespected here, right? Or have been disrespected for a couple of years going on now, with since the new coming of what is it, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf or George Weah or whatever. I think they lost their salt, right? In the whole Liberia respect, the respect that they had before. I think that has been I don't know, I should say taken away from them, or that behavior make people to lose that respect for them. And I think they should try to regain that respect. Because
Who do you think took the respect from them? If you think the respect is not there, or if you think they're being disrespected, why do you think so? Why do you
because
think
the way the church, like Anthony said, is the church is supposed to be neutral, right? The church is supposed to be like the let's say the father or the older person or the uncle in a country.
maybe the elder?
Let's say the elders or whatever. And when people are doing things, regardless of what side it is, and they should be able to speak truth to power. Like people who was older during child studies time, they reference a lot of religious leaders that used to do these things, right? And they had a lot of respect for them, because child study being the boogeyman in the town, right? And these people used to stand up to him. I think doing these things, that's the kind of position as a body like that's supposed to be in. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong here, but that respect is no longer there for them. Everybody see them as like my brother Cindy said, council of hustlers, right? So council of churches of hustlers or whatever. And that stigma is already on them. And people bash at them every time when they're doing something, even if they're doing it right this time around. I think they need to rebrand themselves.
But
Do you
really think that would be a fair characterization of the Council of Churches, for somebody to think maybe the Council of Hustlers or whatever name they're calling them?
Well, hey, that's somebody don't know where to characterizing them. That's a lot of people. That's how a lot of people feel, that they don't stand that moral ground anymore, like their predecessors who were there before, what they used to do and what they used to stand for. They're not like that anymore. Now, some people might be saying that they are the good guys now because it's in their favor or it's in their camp. Who knows? The next person that will come around, we may not like what they do and stuff like that. Or council of churches going putting a president putting their feet on you, and what you kissing up to a president? Come on, for goodness sake! You're supposed to be speaking against every something in the society that happening to this guy. Not because he can donate money if he wants to, but that shouldn't be the reason you close it. The church have to run on money. God is not pulling money down, for the churches to run. But that shouldn't keep your mouth or keep your take your moral away, your reasoning, or the honesty. It shouldn't take it out of you as a body, because that's everybody respects you in society. For the religious leader are always supposed to be respected because of those things. They're not superhuman being. We will not say, oh, they are Jesus Christ or whatever. But you're supposed to have that stand that you against wrongdoing and against the corruption and all of that. When people see those things happen, it brings down your morale or whatever I should call it. And I think what happened here is that former Speaker Kofa and his group felt that these people did not do much. And why they were calling them to, I guess, because of peace sake, do this and don't do that, they saw that as taking side with the other side. So how come now you want to call me and this guy who did this to me in the same room and say I should come and accept this? I think what happened here is the cancer is.
Do you think Councillor Kofa rejected the award from the Council of Churches because of Speaker Kun? You think so?
Not Speaker Kun per se, but a situation that happened between him and Speaker Kun. I think that's the reason why he did that. He knew if he knew that he wasn't something of this award. This is what he was using the whole time. Rule of law. And okay, you may not have won the political fight, but you won the rule of law that you're fighting for. So why wouldn't you accept this award? He felt like the Council of Churches did not fight for him. They did not. They were not standing up for the right cause. That's what he felt. To him, what he was doing was the right cause. I'm not saying that where they come from and where they feel is on this point. And my brother Anthony said that they didn't tell the president. He disrespected the Supreme Court ruling, which the president never did. But that's another like I said. When there's no respect, that everybody is just pouring everything on you. From what we have seen them do over the past years, like what killed me the most was that whole thing with the judge. We are something that was
before you share people in your church.
Yeah, that was it for me, because I did not expect to see that a bishop or whatever they're kneeling down to a person that is now ordained, that just go on a strength that is being called pulpit. Where was he ordained to be called a pastor or whatever? And that just killed it all for me. So that's why I said they have lost their whole morale, their integrity in the country, and they need to rebrand themselves if they really want to. All the awards and stuff, I don't see any whatever in it. I just see it to be a charade,
but let's take it this way. Let's take it this way, and maybe we should take some calls after this talking point, and before we move to the next one. But let's put it this way, Amy. Do you think the Liberia Council of Churches was in a very difficult position in the midst of this fight we saw at the House of Representatives?
For this one, yes, they were. They were in a difficult position. That's what I said. I'm not saying they did anything wrong here in a particular situation, because these guys, they would have said everything that the way the whole thing was going. Even the president speaking to them, telling them to do, and they said no. The other group said no. The other group said no. It was very hard to get these guys to do anything. Right?
So, but
they were
again,
bent on doing whatever they decided to do.
And,
so
and also, I mean, sorry to interrupt you, but also, do you think the Council of Churches was strategic enough by organizing this program where all of those actors, especially the former speaker and the current speaker, will be under the same roof and be given an award to sort of soften the ground, reconcile the two individuals? Do you think that was strategic, or was it just a missed target here from the Council of Churches?
I mean, I like the fact that they called both of them under the same roof, but I don't think the award thing was any necessary to be given to Speaker Kun and Speaker Kofa. Because like whatever went on from the what had happened from our Capitol building and everything else, that was something that both parties in some way was in the wrong. I don't think awarding them both was any kind of strategic move or whatever. I think it was important to call them. Yes, Speaker Kun is a state man. Yes, so is Speaker Kofa. But Speaker Kofa is still a little bitter. He still got a little something in him. So I think talking to them solved them most of the time. Then after they
just a program, talk to them. Just a program, talk to them. But
to have them.
What do you think on this one? Just before we go to the phone lines, and then we take family and go to the phone lines. Do you think it was a strategic move on the part of the Council of Churches? I mean, to get both parties coming together in the same room and maybe giving them an award. And maybe we want to go back the same question to you too. In the midst of the fight, do you think the Council of Churches was in a difficult space? Anthony, can you hear me?
Oh, I thought you were talking to family. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, Nelson. In my opinion, I don't think they were in a difficult spot. They could have let everything play out, and like Amy just said, call them but not give them a war. Bringing them together and not give them a war, it would have been much better. As to giving them a war. For me, their war thing really threw me off. It rubbed me the wrong way. Because we have seen this very group sat in Liberia, things happen, they did nothing. What are your reward? A war should be it's something that is dignified and that worth it, right? I don't see the work he gave Richard Kuhn. Richard Kuhn have not even served his term yet. He just started. What have Richard Kuhn start doing now for you to call your statement? Just winning the speakership. Right now,
So,
Liberia have more
you
issues.
think winning the
More
speakership,
pressure issue
you think
on the table to address than calling people and giving them a war.
you think winning the speakership is not enough to call somebody a statesman to give them an award?
Look.
And you think advocating for the law being the law and then getting it was not enough to give Honorable Kofi an award?
I like the fact that Kofi declined. Look, Nelson, tonight, thousands of Liberian children went to bed hungry. Thousands more will go to bed hungry tomorrow. This whole week, some people have some food to eat. Some people didn't. Some people will have some food tomorrow. They may not have it for 2-3 days. This is serious. We got to focus on addressing the bread and butter issue in the country. This tit for tat conversation, it's not doing the country any good.
Thank you. Anthony, you sorry.
That family, don't call me Anthony, because that Ataisha politics that Anthony talking about bread and butter issue, we've heard that several times. And Liberia is not an exception to the global hunger. Hunger is everywhere, and people are maneuvering everyhow to feed their family. And even the Bible charge men, they say, from the sweat of their brow shall thou eat bread. A man shall get up and hustle and work hard for his family. Look, I'm not.
Which one the Bible said that a man shall get up and hustle?
The Bible said, from the sweat of thy brow shall thou eat bread. He was giving particular.
The Bible too, right?
The man shall hustle.
The hustle part is just a modification of that word. I'm working on the back. The man supposed to work and hustle. Yeah. That ain't me. Everybody must hustle.
Say, by their fruits we shall know them. We seen the fruit of LCC.
What a meaning.
Thank you. Let's go to the phone line.
Well, let me finish getting here, Nelson.
Let's go to the phone line.
Look, the Liberia Council of Churches, like I said previously, I'm not going to demoralize the church, or I'm not going to caution our spiritual leader, because many a times it is the same spiritual leader, whether somebody are Kwasa, somebody from under the tree, in difficult times. These are the same people who run back to pray for the nation. And the same people been praying. Whether God answer it or not, they've been interceding on behalf of many of the people who do not even recognize the existence of God. So I will not go. I'm not going to. The part that I recognize.
Do you think they were in a tough?
Yeah, that's the thing. That people will not look at the major point for which this entire issue. But forget about that certification. I think I get many people. But what is the entire? What is the bottom line of the whole thing? That was reconciliation. Why can't we just speak about the reconciliation? Now it already show you that somebody is still bitter, even though he said it on state. So let's move forward. Let's move the country forward. The country got to move forward. But yet it's still simple step to reconciliation to come to the church. For people here can get Anthony paying people to gain a war Mr. Cummings pay people to gain a war. He secretly gave 50,000 to somebody will never recognize. And it only remain in our group chat today that he can say, oh, Mr. Cummings gave 50,000 to some kind of university. But in all of this,
I don't know where you
it's
come
easy.
from.
Why I told you today that you should come on the show and address the issue. You came here to attack me today. The
No, but listen, no.
Address the issue without
I'm not saying, I'm not telling you about reconciliation.
Come here because
please
you waste your time.
Okay, reconciliation.
Forget Anthony. Now you've made Anthony to leave. But listen, man. You come on the show.
The reconciliation. All I was trying to say, reconciliation was the hallmark. That was the major thing today. But people, people
did you had a testify then where a was though?
Look, if somebody come in like Blair, even become a normal thing.
I know our brother Anthony left the show. Look, 1 second. I know our brother Anthony left the show, but you said who gave money for what? You know, I wanted to understand that aspect.
You said you let this business.
No.
Anthony know that's the reason why you are coming. And how they be putting money under the table so they can get a fake and what's supposed to say, oh yeah, the man in the interest of Liberian people. We already know. I bring it out.
Who get money to who for why?
Hey, I'm not digging bait on that. You need to give him more. I already told you that we're going to discuss reconciliation. That was the reason why the church did that. That paper is just something that we not. I mean, I don't even look at that paper. The first thing I was looking at since I saw that story today and I went beyond it, the first thing that I focused on, I left all that other thing. I think it's just for humor, gratification. And I'm looking at, but I'm looking at the base of that entire thing was reconciliation. Let's reconcile the country. Let's move. So the religious leaders, that's that responsibility, that's that role. If they call you, they say, oh, why didn't you say, oh, I don't want that thing, but I will say attend the service. So I can at least listen to the message and meet and shake hands and then move on. You already said it. You said the country should move on. So that's how it's supposed to be, that reconciliation. At least that is better than somebody paying money on the table and we know that.
No. Please, we don't want our brother Anthony to leave again. Please.
Mr. Cummings gave Prince Johnson money for the Polytechnic. He said a lie.
Hey,
Prince said it public. Prince Johnson said it publicly. He said a lie.
I ain't even call him.
Wait. Anthony,
why you throwing him that?
You really want us to go into that Prince Johnson?
No, we don't. We don't want to go into that.
Let's say money business. No, you know we don't want to go there.
No, but he said a lie. He said he ain't happy.
Because
don't mind. You want God.
And by the way, they had a lot of innocent people and normal Liberian, other people that pray strongly for Liberia, that intercede all the time.
Absolutely.
It's not just the council of churches that do that. They have other people, like people like me, that intercede for Liberia. They got
even me, I step to my country.
They stand there, they put their forehead on the floor and pray every day, and singing every day for the country. It's not just council of churches who do that.
Look,
I'm not minimizing that role or whatever, but to give them all that credit, we shouldn't be.
No, I'm saying that's one of the functions. That's one of the things they do. So other people pray. Not only council of church praying. I say the Muslim community praying. Other people praying.
Not answer it because they are corrupt.
Who are you to tell who answer prayer or not?
I'm not judging that part, but.
Okay, so guys, we have to go to the phone line.
Up to the man upstairs, but
let's take some calls. 0555 101075. Let's hear your thoughts tonight on the late night show, the late night politics on Spoon. Let me put the WhatsApp up. Let's take your calls tonight. Of course, let's hear your take on the different conversations. Hello. Yeah, you're live. Let's hear it.
English, CDC English, a lot of leave it. Very important. If you can leave today, you go river, say I think for the yesterday, they are like. You can come from Bopolo, you carry food stuff in Morovia. See the government take power. Nobody standing in line for food or for rest or gas. Oh, the market the only one government must say bring a copper and coke on Broad Street. Yeah, or can say all the mirror. They do good thing for them. All the money. Yeah. But maybe you want to know what they call the country. Look at Marshall. Look at kind of shape the building like Liberia. Oh, all the CDC bread butter. Eh? If you get goods coming from Lofa and other places,
Thank you. Thank you.
Nobody go stay in line for rest or for gas. People used to go to sell for gas. All the bread butter. They probably say, okay, say put a coal bar there.
Thank you very much for your input. Okay. Let's hold you there, you know, and take another person. Hello, your name and where you call from?
Thank you, Nelson. This is Zaza, and good evening to everyone on the show, to my brother, my twin brother, Honorable Gay, and to all of you up there. Thank you for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to understand this. Reconciliation should not be for just formality. I can't come on the show, get our sister, I'm on the show that I insult her intentionally, that I can't let this stuff. Let go reconcile. Yeah, because I know I was just all sorry, so I do I insult her and later this is sorry, man. You know I respect with me, sorry. You intentionally. And that's what we do. When Kofa was going through this thing, where were the council of churches? What do you went through in that country?
What role do you think? What role you think the council of churches should have played in this recent speakership saga?
Very good. Thank you for telling me. All the people that are members of the council of churches, they got their members attending the churches.
Mm-hmm.
They're members in the house of representatives. Some of them, they're members to the pastor forgetting that they now God between that politics, and they kept quiet. I hosted some pastors. I was on a show, and the pastor told her that I think that politics, I'll leave it. So you said that politics, why you can't let politicians to reconcile? You come in there, you want to be reconciling. Where the politics you are talking about? So the politician reconcile. Saying you say well politics, you know you don't want to talk inside. The politician reconcile. No need to co-support the church name.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your input tonight. Let's see if we can take another person from this line. Hello, you are live. Let's hear you. Hello. Or we lost that person. This one. Hello. Yeah, hello, you're live. Your name and where you call from.
Oh, thank you, Nelson. And thanks to your brilliant panelists for the brilliant cross coordination of views concerning our
that English, then you got to break it down small. But go ahead.
Let's say it. This is Spoon FM. It's not the ordinary station here. By the way, for the recommendations, I'm Pocket Robert. And I joined you this morning from Rovia. You know, I would like to
So, Poka, you're not calling from unknown destination again?
I was going to say that's it.
But go ahead, let's hear you.
Let's just talk a little bit.
Go ahead, Poka. Let's hear you.
The famous Poker Robert.
Yeah, Poka. No, you usually call for unknown destination. That's why I'm asking to know your destination.
No problem.
All right, okay.
By the way, I would like to buttress and add on to what my brother just left the land said. Obviously, anything that is not done properly is not done at all. And we are not against reconciliation. But where was the council of churches? Where were them? When the era was occurring, what were them?
What role you expect that council of churches to play?
The question, what you have done?
Yeah, what do you think they should have done?
Yeah? Even the minority, or the majority can get angry with them. But you saw what they did? They state what should have been done. What are the council of churches? That now you want to talk about reconciliation?
Okay. Thank you, Poka. Thank you, Poka. Let's take a call from the WhatsApp line. Hello, you're live.
Yes, Nelson.
Yes, sir.
Yes, only from Fargo, North Dakota. This is Terry Taylor from Fargo, North Dakota.
Let's hear you, sir.
Yes, let's try to give my take. You know, the reason why the main thing that prompted me to come home is that you know, your colleague, one of your colleagues, you know, they got a family. You know, for each time I listen to him, it sounds very deceptive as a young person. So deceptive, and you cannot defend those deceptions. You know, it makes you ugly. Look, you know, somehow, you know, weird as a young man.
So what? Yeah. Well, yeah. Go to the issue, sir.
You know, Mr. Gay been trying to educate, but it's not a debate between you and Mr. Gay. But however, what I'm going to say is that Joseph Boaga, the Council of Churches, whereas the lady, the pretty lady out there, she said it that just the Council of Churches they have lost their trust, and this has the propensity to even make some of the other young people to even change their relation or something might go on. But they waited the time we expected them to come and prove themselves. But the main thing, the problem on it, when Waka came to power, Waka fired the people. Hundreds or thousands of people took them from job and did that on purpose. He on a mission, on a mafia mission. They make it from Rome, the man said, because when he said to the devil to be president, be president. Don't. You
said he came from Rome. He said what?
During the 2023 election, before the campaign, Waka wanted to Italy. He didn't do that. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? You're young people, you don't know.
But make us understand the deal now. What deal he made there?
Yeah. Remember, in the war, they have a group. They got mysterious group like the mafias. They got all these people in there, and they're from Rome. And
so you mean no? I want to understand. You mean are you saying that the mafia? There's a group called mafia, and that group from Rome?
Mafias, yeah, Italian mafias. You know about them? That's my son going almost to 30 years old.
Yeah, over 30 years old. But I mean, so you saying the mafia group, President Baka signed something with the mafia group? Is that what you're saying?
I accuse Waka on the other platform about this. I'm the one accusing Black Waka. But in very deep, we discuss it now. But this country, Liberia.
Okay, we will send you an invite. We will send you an invite tomorrow to join us on the show. Can we bring you on the show tomorrow?
Let me just lay on this, then you can say what you want to say, man. But the way the country is going, he fired the people on purpose. He bought himself gun-proof, car. Have you guys now, creeping on us? That shows that he waited anytime the country would enter into civil arrest or whatever thing, and there to protect him. Because without waiting to be democratic people, he fired those people, and the Council of Churches, people are not going to pay more offerings. All these things are psychological effect.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So, and we make some of those councilmen give them positions to cover them.
Thank you.
The country is going down in the wrong way, and we see that young man on our platform, and these are people who, with the way that their deception made other people follow and vote for.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that's wrong.
Thank you.
Young men being so deceptive on the platform.
Thank you.
Each time I listen to you, really, but.
Thank you very much for your input, sir. We appreciate you. We want to invite you. We're interested in that information.
That mafia story.
That mafia information is like Anthony should have some information on the whole mafia thing.
I beg you, another member.
No, Anthony, you and the man from the same organization.
Anthony tested a guy to court. Now, Anthony, I know.
I even know the man.
Let's conclude with the colors. Hello, you are live.
Let's hear you. Sorry,
let's hear you.
Nelson, good morning. Good morning, Nelson, and good morning and good evening to family and my sister Amy. I said we want to welcome you back to the line because you've been out, and I just brought up with you. I don't know what you have been discussing, but what I just listened to, this is Satama.
Yes, Satama, welcome.
I beg you, let family forget about praying for Liberia, because he's not being objective. He's being very deceptive in all of his analysis. Let me tell you a little bit. Look, we have people who should be proactive. The Council of Churches, the clergymen, we expect them to come in when there's an issue. When there's an issue, they should come in and bring biblical facts to solve our problem.
How do you think they should have come in during that impasse? How do you think they should have come in?
So nothing. I want to let you show because you can ask some reasonable questions. You don't wait as clergymen. Hello?
Yeah, you're alive.
Hello?
Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. You don't wait as a clergyman for things to scatter, then you come and be reactive. We have two words. To be proactive is to intervene when there's a problem. But after the solve the political issue, now you come for reconciliation. Where were you yesterday? When Nigeria suffer, all of them lost. You go to JFK and people lying on the floor. People were to LRJ, making sure that cover is relieved of his post. With the Council of Churches who have come to make intervention for Liberia to have not gone through all of our went through. So the Council of Churches, they already left.
Okay.
Supreme Court spoke, they waited. They didn't speak until they themselves say, look, let's see how we can solve our issue.
But Satama, don't you think it was strategic for the Council of Churches to have organized that award program for the both individuals, the former speaker and the current speaker, to have gone there? Do you think it was right for the former speaker to decline the award given to him?
Bossman, I don't want to speak for Furanti Kofa. I don't want to speak for Kun. Hello?
Yes, sir. You're live.
Hello? Okay. I don't want to speak for the both party. What we're talking about, you can't wait your two kids in a house because clergy men are honorable people. Even the leader of the country listen to you. International community listen to you. They were being reactive instead of being proactive.
Okay.
It was related. Their award was very related. A cover had been me a ground. They are stood the ground. But this time we are now where we are.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
That formula keep his prayer.
Thank you.
Because formula from the inception, he been deceptive, and up to now he's still deceptive.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
The men that I bring to the men want pray. You say the men will not pray. The men will say pray because everybody get access to prayer room. So the men will pray. Hello, you're live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, how are you?
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
Thank you. And the political Paul Lumumba and I cover this time.
Okay, go
ahead.
ahead.
They're saying the people sometimes call the show they bring personal feeling into national issue. Somebody say, oh, the people brought calamity upon us. President Joseph Jima Baka, we voted him. And when President Joseph Jima Baka again younger again, 10,000 times, we're voting 10,000 times. No. At this time, President Weah was here making music, building 48 condominium. President Baka's lifestyle cannot even make us who voted in him to get angry with him because we believe he's identified with our situation. Now, they are busy building roads. Then you got busy building roads in our economy, in the trust of our country internationally. That's the issue with bread and butter. The President, we are ever made any international farm and plenty rest for come and bring the whole farm. We are took 6 years to make support this country. Today, President Parker is struggling to face it. We are not saying everything is bread and butter. But to come on and destroy the country 6 years, and President Parker will sit in 40 months and face a 20% apparatus. We got to be fair. That's all always not bread and butter. You just left 14 years ago. What did you put in place that Parker destroy? Nothing.
That's the picture the color. I'm not a citizen.
Few community roads. No farm. You left in place. Then today you complain. Bread and butter. You may end up Parker can't burn it. You may end up farm in this country, rest farm that Parker can't destroy. How many rest you put in the kitchen that Parker burn?
Thank you.
So
Thank
we
you.
have to be fair.
Thank you. 0555101.
I think I'll put a beat sound. Anytime come in, I'm not a citizen.
Number to call and you'll be live on the program. 05551011075 and the WhatsApp is trading. So we can take like 4 more calls and then we wrap up. Hello, we have a caller here.
Yes, hello, dear brother.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, you are live on the show. Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, actually, for me, from my own perspective,
What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
My name is Daniel Kiamu, and I call from New Makari.
Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah, the time the Council of Churches came in, it was very late. Yeah, they took about half a hour or so in our whole saga. But they waited until the whole thing got over. Maybe probably they would just call Funati and reaching out with people. They have some talk with them. But to say awarding them for what? Yeah, so for me, it's not really necessary, the war.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So, caller number 3. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Your name and where you call from?
My name is Mohammed Terry, calling from Grand Cape, County.
From Grand Cape, let's hear you.
Oh, my brother. Let me be friend with your studio guest. I don't know how to call him, family or who.
Yeah, his name is Famole. Go ahead.
Okay.
He's a panelist.
What is his name? Let he call his name, Nelson.
I call my name. My name is Mohammed Terry.
Okay, I want to know what kind of carry you are.
You know, the council of churches, they are not. They don't do well for themselves. From the beginning, when the thing started, they was to be the first person to call the people and advise them. But they never do it. They sat down until it went out of hand. So what are you expecting for Kufa to do? Kufa will go and accept the war. There is any sense in it? My brother, that'll be justice. The council of churches, the Muslim council, they are biased in this country. They didn't do well for the Liberian people.
Okay.
Always the cause for problem to happen in this country before at the end of the day, then they won't come in. While the profit is solving that problem, then they come in.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that's all the time we've got for the calls. Okay,
now, see, this conversation need to pick it back up tomorrow because it's really not a cause.
Hello. Yes, you are live. Let's hear you.
Mohammed Kamara, calling for Krata.
Mohammed, go ahead.
You see, the people talking, I'm looking at Grand Crew. The first time history, purely tele 2 street, the lay out in Grand Crew. But I don't know what called General, no respect for Liberian president. Just calling the president Wakai. You see, the teammate will never come back to power in the country. They just be a two party. Yeah?
So the two party you go to?
Let's get it, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's yellow for someone, let it get them 4.5 million, let it pay the man for property. Yeah, the butter costs you bread butter in the place.
Thank you.
They tell you we're hungry, we eat it every day.
No sedition on the show today.
Thank you very much. Hello, your name and
no sedition here today.
Let's hear you.
You said you're talking about God, we are not going to power. You are a fool for you or you injure? Why can see for now the toilet now? Why you get space in our politics? Why you call you the party? You have destroyed our country to the 4 years. You don't know we are not coming power.
Okay.
Why not wait?
Hello.
Who's that?
Yeah, morning. Quickly, you are the final caller. Let's hear you now.
Okay, my name is Chris Park. I'm calling you from 1603 Bannersville.
Yeah, go ahead quickly.
I just like to say, the council of churches, where the councils were sitting when the people were doing all the things here and there, where the council was, the people bring the Capitol building, everything where they were.
So what do you expect the council of churches to do for the Capitol building to not point or for the lawmaker to not disagree? What do you expect the council of churches to do?
If they were coming to come in earlier, I believe within myself that they were not coming reach this far. But they said that now the people already finished doing everything. Then they come and give medal now for the burning of the Capitol building. So they gave me the medal now for the burning of the Capitol building.
Thank you for burning the house.
And the council of churches just give us a chance.
Okay.
Seriously.
Thank you. I think we'll close it on the local calls. Let me squeeze in the final WhatsApp call here. And then we so let me just squeeze in the final WhatsApp call. I really wanted to have gotten
anything substantive.
A representative from the Council of Churches, but hopefully we can do that another time.
We gotta see Amy. Amy is the queen of this show. We gotta steal her.
But let's do our closing. There are lots of issues we couldn't touch on today. We're gonna do that tomorrow. The CDC party headquarters thing is a major conversation. 4.5 million we're talking about, and let me quote.
I'm very not watch that thing, man. Come on.
Let's talk about it. Why not?
When was the last time? When was the last time you visited the CDC party headquarters? When was the last time? Anthony.
I've never been to that headquarters.
Okay.
I drove past it, but I've never been in there.
Okay. You never entered the CDC party headquarters. But just so you know, the party headquarters is not what you knew in time past. There's a vocational school there. There are different structures there now. As to whether it's up to 4.5 million, I can't say. But yeah, lots of structures have been constructed, at the party headquarters as we speak. Yeah. But I think we can do our closing, and then we are going to discuss the rest of the issues tomorrow.
Yeah, we can talk about the party headquarters tomorrow.
Yeah. But the guy is saying he's anyway. We're gonna discuss all of the issues. We hope to have Vasco, George, and Alita on some of the guys on the CDC.
Yeah, it'll be fair to have them more.
What?
In a group chat.
Registration fee.
Vasco running away. He doesn't want to come and talk about it.
$1 membership fee. You don't pay for the. Hey man, look.
All right.
And UP that 5 and 6, my brother. The librarian people need to look in a different.
You're doing your closing now, right?
I'm doing my closing. The librarian people need
to
look.
No. Just hold on a bit, Anthony. Why are you doing your closing? Just hold on 1 second. Our brother Chokon is trying to call on the show.
Oh, okay.
Immediately, when Chokon heard me talking about the CDC party headquarters, he sent me a message. Chokon said he has a very important information about the CDC party headquarters thing. There's a breaking news he wants to give the audience. So, Chokon, welcome to the show. Are you calling on the CDC party headquarters thing, or you just want to weigh in your thoughts on the conversation?
Oh, Nelson, I can't shy away from that. I'm going to speak to that, but let me start with the issues relating to the Council of Churches honoring of Richard Kuhn and Mr. Kofa.
Speak of Richard Kuhn, please.
Long time we've been overlooking this issue, but the entire society is morally bankrupt, and the Council of Churches and the religious community in Liberia are of no exception. Some of their doings, their actions and inactions is even more corrupt than the politicians. They should serve as the moral guarantor of society, ensuring that society is operating on the right path, ensuring that society is morally upright, and those who are placed in position of trust are doing what is needed. But the church, the mosque, and our religious community in general, they are not showing any examples. So I do not see them to be any more authority to honor anyone. Even if they decide to honor a person, it doesn't suggest anything different. It doesn't in any way suggest that whoever they are honoring have made any indelible mark in Liberia. So I don't see them to be like the same way we have the Association of Wheelbarrow Culture and what have you. Come on.
Chokon, this is our religious community you're talking about here. When we had senseless civil unrest in this country, that the same people we're talking about.
In recent age, when have they made any major intervention to resolve a problem in Liberia?
What intervention did you expect the Council of Churches to have made, especially in the capital building situation? In such a way where none of the parties will feel that the Council of Churches is taking a side.
The best intervention they could have made, I think they could have called all of the stakeholders that were involved into that issue around the table and ensure that they compel them to acting in the best interest of Liberia.
When you say compel, what do you mean?
Compel many force them to make a decision that will be in the best interest of Liberia at that moment. So here's the thing with Nelson. If it is good that the issue got resolved, and I'm extremely thankful to the former speaker, Mr. Fonati Kofa, who relinquished power. But whatever happened at the Capitol building could have led to a serious constitutional crisis that could have even illegitimized this entire government. because the first branch of government was going to totally collapse. Because if the lower house doesn't operate for 5 sections, the upper house is not going to operate. How are we going to pass our budget? We're going to be signing our documentation before the executive can start implementing. So we were almost at the point of a serious constitutional crisis, and the entire state was at a crisis proportion. That was an urgent need for the Council of Churches to come in. But I can't remember if there was any major intervention that they made. And to the CDC issue, I'm just going to speak to it using one sentence. It is an open secret that it is politically motivated, and there's nothing else I can say about it.
Wait.
Is going to fight.
Is the 4.5 million going to come? Or is it all political? Is it 4.5 million also political in this whole thing?
So the reason why we are discussing the CDC being asked to leave that complex is because the CDC is the major political actor in Liberia, the major opposition political party in Liberia, and the CDC constitutes the highest amount of support from the Liberian people, and the United Party and other actors who are in government or close to power, they have some level of fear, and they are trying to do everything in their might to ensure that it dismantles the CDC. That is the reason why we're
just a quick one, then we'll let you go, Chukun. We saw similar thing with the Unity Party. When the CDC was in power, the Unity Party lost her office, the head office here in Congo Town. Was it also political? Was it that the CDC did it to the Unity Party and now it's political with the CDC?
You see, Nelson, to answer that question, right? If you look at the way in which the Unity Party got evicted and the way in which the CDC is being asked to get evicted, is two different means. The Unity Party, they were squatting on the people's property without paying bills for almost a year plus. The people reached out to them and they never had an alternative. They could not have generated the rent to pay for the people land.
Chief,
so that is
the people had a bill at some point. The people said they didn't want a bill. The people had a bill at some point. The property owner said they didn't want the money, but that's a whole different side of the story there. But
so you know what happened, Chief? Yeah. Even if the renters said that they didn't want the money from the Unity Party, that is because the Unity Party didn't present themselves as a trustworthy client, because you cannot be living on.
And that's the other side of the story there. And I'm glad you go into that part of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, because they could not have paid, so the people could not trust them any longer. But the CDC issue, what is happening is that someone is claiming that the land doesn't belong to those who the CDC is doing business with. And that is something that just erupted after the Unity Party came to power. So how can that be compared to the Unity Party crisis?
Okay. But Chogon, we hope to have you on tomorrow. We're going to go in depth with this conversation. But thank you. We appreciate you for chipping in, though we're already closing now. But thanks a lot. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Nelson.
All right. Okay. So guys, we have to do our closing.
Look, Nelson, I think you really lost part of the story. I think you can really enjoy when people explaining stories to you. I don't know how you really want us to, we that have 12 pair of cranial nerves, people who they science they know as
no, you gotta leave that biology thing and beyond small will count the show. Leave 12 pairs of cranial nerves and all this kind of
the nerves that make sure that you focus and you get brain, you get hair over your shoulder. Those nerves that control your thinking. But imagine Chogon here explaining that ever since Sparrow story. He who feeds one with pebbles asks for racking return. Chogon, you know that. I will not give you the meaning of that, but you know it. But there are so many people today who call, and some of them were just trying to, make me to come out and tell them more ugly stuff. But let me just keep it on a professional level, because I'm speaking my opinion and not the opinion of anybody. But here's the thing. The Council of Churches, from time immemorial, when we go back in history, these people are religious. You cannot take that part from them. You can call them any names you want to call them. But is it the Council of Churches that has become this police for the state? Somebody ridiculously calling on the show, telling us that the Council of Churches are supposed to stop the fire from the Capitol. The Council of Churches are religious leaders. They are not the only person. Why you only look at the Council of Churches? What happened to the Muslim Council? What happened to the other faith that in the country? Oh, because the Council of Churches that want almost there's a calumny against Christianity. People will always try to ugly and muddy the water and make it look nasty. But I'm not going whether they did it in good faith or bad faith. The most important thing that I saw in there that I will continue to stick on was reconciliation. If a former speaker Kofa see it that he never wanted it and he recused himself and he declined it, it's okay. It's all right. But the country is not going to bow down because of that. And then the same Choco man who called on our show today and denigrating this same Council of Churches, why didn't he say that this same church, his political leader was stepping on their head? The videos all over. Why Choco will behave like that on the show? I want him to be here so I can look at him in the face and tell him. And you talking about the Unity Party, you serve as a ruling party for 6 years. You couldn't even procure or lay when your president was there bidding for the 8 condominium for himself, breaking down his non-street resident and putting up a new structure, going to Jamaica Resort and putting and doing all kind of stuff over there, launching music every week, using money to buy appliances and sponsoring music career all around the place, and he couldn't even procure a place to call CDC home. Let's stop that thing, man. Let's stop that thing. Anthony, I know the tactic you play. The tactic you play, you want me to go first. You want for me to deal with you. But you can still come back. I'll deal with you tomorrow. But what a great show we have.
My pager went out. I needed to get something. So
what a great show we have. And it's always a pleasure coming on here. I saw some of my angry friends then like Satama then calling here. And I said Satama. Any you see that Hassan Satama. 2 last name, you already know what they come and say.
No.
And you see why I always told you about
the man call my name direct the message. I was deceptive. So Ken asked him, say he lying to on the radio. He called here and he calling President Bwaka and all out. He's saying the thing that happened.
He's saying you are deceptive in your analysis. That's what he said. You didn't talk
give me a minute. I listened to everything he said. I wrote it down for your information. I wrote everything he said. I know exactly what he said. Satama then are regular people then who call on the show here and they think that of that
better. Supposed to be attacking the colors.
In fact, that's it. I'm not singing. I'm not Anthony or CDC or Renegade or CDC who pretend to be an ANC and a student of ANC. But I don't believe Anthony today. He tell me say you have never been to the CDC headquarters. He lying. So I don't want to talk about that. Anthony, you are CDC. Everybody know.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a whole lot. Thanks a whole lot. Anthony, you want to do your closing?
Absolutely. No, listen. Let the Liberian people have to know this today. Since post-war Liberia, since the era of Charles Taylor leaving the country, Ellen became president. From that time to today, it's 20 years now. Folks, look at your living condition. Don't allow politicians to come and spill out things to you that will not benefit you. What matters today is how you can afford to put food on the table for you and your children, be able to send your children to school, and be able to buy them slipper when a slipper cut or any other thing that they may need. That's the basic necessity of life. Those things, that's what you care about. What a politician claim on top of the building or B32 or that one, you don't care about it. The vast majority of the people that will come across this video, some of whom are listening now, that's the truth. That's all they want, is to have an opportunity to strive. They don't seeking to be millionaire, but at least if that sweeping job set, they want to have it and get paid on time. They too deserve a better Liberia. And that is the reason why CDC and Unity Party have had the opportunity of serving this country. And they are ruining opportunity. Matter of fact, in the words of then the Vice President Bwaka, they squander opportunity. Now he has the opportunity to change or rewrite the wrongs. And he too is now going to that path. The private jet he criticized, he flying on private jets. He acting bank governor currently get $7,000 in cash, 5,000 in an additional cash for your own house you already built, plus 10,000, that's 22,000 when the police
That's
call.
not what we're discussing, Anthony. You're going
My brother,
off track.
I'm using my closing.
You're all the way off track.
I'm using my closing. That's the time. That's what I want to do. I'm using my closing. So, folks, shine your eye, like Bremen will say. These two parties, even if you bring CDC back, it's still going to be the same thing. So all you need now is to look a different direction. Don't bring these two parties back. Give another person a chance, because that's what you need. Every Liberian deserves a better Liberia. Because you were born poor, that does not necessarily mean you should die poor. Everybody will not be rich in Liberia, but everybody will have the opportunity, at least, to be able to afford. Even a little bombo said, the people can say, you'll be able to build it. So you don't have to live in Z-Brown for the rest of your life. Folks, the ANC has been re-imaged, have been restructured, and have been rebranded.
I do a lot earlier for the campaign thing.
Look at Nessie too. I have a story that Nessie love. You see, he saying that he's smiling.
You're a bit early for the campaign stuff.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
That man, Lane. Go ahead, Anthony.
No, Anthony Lane already, but you know, they campaign. You know, it's a good thing actually.
I'm waiting for 2029.
It's a good thing to keep the
Nope,
the
we're
fight.
not waiting for every night. I'll echo it. We ready. And we accept
You know,
membership.
because you know,
next time we come out, I'll post the website where people can sign up for the membership.
Because the next thing, the real thing is to leave from 1% to 50%. That answer. So I understand why Anthony needs to start earlier. You know, because that gap. So if you go up to 7 where you were in 2017. Anyway, but Anthony, thank you. That was a good one. And please, guys, please allow our brother to sell his market anytime he can on the show. You know, I mean. But Emmy, you want to do your closing?
Sure. So, thanks to the callers tonight, but I think most of the time when the callers are calling in their feelings and saying stuff, some of them don't even know what they're talking about. They're saying stuff that they heard on talk shows and radios and stuff. Now, when you talk about bread and butter issue, if you're calling and saying someone being deceptive, right? And you talk about bread and butter issue, and you think that 6 years ago, when people were getting stuck in mud, their markets, staying in cars, in pickups, in trucks, and going bad because of bad roads, and they can't get to the market after suffering for months, for years, to plant these things, harvest it, trying to take it to the market. And even pregnant women getting stuck in trucks in the mud because they can't move. If a president is trying to fix that, and you don't call that a bread and butter issue, I don't know what's wrong with you. Because you know why? A man can put his plantain branches in the car. He can put his bitter balls in the car. He can put his pepper in the car and take it to the next market that is close by, or to bring it to Monrovia without a problem and sell it and get money. If that's not a bread and butter issue to pave the roads, I don't know what is. Like the brother that called said, I think they just need for people to take the copa and give it to them. Then they will say that you're facing a bread and butter issue. We cannot, in this arrest agenda, don't we have roles as one of those? Why would you even not even think that that's important to do that? And not just roles, other things are going on. Now, are we saying everything is bread and butter and rosy and whatever? No. But for you to stay here and say the country is going down, look at how the damage in our country and healed 6 years ago. What happened? And you want for somebody to come and make miracle in 14 months? I think you're the one being deceptive to the Liberian people. You're not telling them the truth. Now, everybody will come here. It depends who mouth you put a microphone to. They will have their own narrative. If you go, people go out there in the street and interview people, and then you have people just cherry pick the bad ones to show to the Liberian people on these platforms and not show the entire interview. You cannot sit here and tell me, say, anybody go out there, the whole thing, the only thing you can tell me is the live interview that you seen it live. Other than that, somebody else go out there and they bring tip. And then somebody showing it on the platform, and all you see, they're just bad. Nothing, no one there that was saying anything good. That is impossible. Because we all know it depends who mouth you put a microphone to. So when people come and edit these things and showing just the bad ones because they want to make government looks bad, if you say they are bad, let them show themselves. They can do bad by themselves, by them action, right? Why are you helping them to edit these interviews and show it, right? So this is calling here and talking about brain butter issue, deceptive, and other one and stuff. And you're the one being deceptive. You don't want to acknowledge the common thing that is going on in the country. Once a government is taking part of a country like ours, it's taking care of another side, the whole, you will feel some strain on there. Every time I came here, even during the campaign, I always told you, President Bouaga, when nobody's voting for President Bouaga, or we asking you to vote for President Bouaga because he was going to turn Moreover into Liberia into gold or whatever. He was going to start something. And then the other person will come to stop the bleeding, which he has done. That's what he has done. And he's moving forward. Everything he's doing now, everybody, the president is not doing anything. But when he's doing that, people claiming this to be, we are project. We are, and you soon we got in the country. Even everything they got, we are project. Even we are put a pin on the paper that we are project. Even the Eddie on the old something that he had to renew. Everything is we are project. Eddie never did anything. It's all we are projects. As if when a government leaves power, as if we have brought his own money with him for his farm, his so-called imaginary farm from Snowe. He brought it with him to do something that when he leaves, the next government that come in power not supposed to touch it. This is why our country looks like that, because everybody think that they have to show their own moral. They don't want somebody to start something, if it's not done, the government is not supposed to end it before going forward. And these are the narratives that these people set on platforms like this to tell our people, to make them to believe that even if we have started something like, for example, the RIA rule, where Ellen did her part, we can did his part. Joe Biden supposed to come and just leave it like that because of we are projects. I'm not supposed to touch it.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
So come here and be talking about Joe Biden is taking care of some issue that is bread and butter. Is everything being taken care of? No, I'm not going to tell you that. Should we still beat on the government or the government officials, some of them doing the wrong thing? Yes, absolutely. That we still need to talk about. Are our people living some life that the government needs to take care of? Yes, we need to. But the people said on this platform and said, we are was the best thing that ever happened to our country. Oh, your country going down. You never saw it going down 6 years ago. That in 1 year, you see it going down? Y'all give me a break. This is why small come y'all not start giving me pressure, and I'm not gonna let y'all give me pressure because I will always come in and make sure that Liberia must be better. I'm not going to Liberia in my old age. I'm going to Liberia in my young age, and I will make sure whoever sits there, God forbid, it's not we are again. Like Anthony said, if it's not, God forbid, Joe Bouaga fails us, we will come in and campaign for another person. Give somebody else a chance to do something. You can have a bad person in because you're a bad relationship, then you go into a bad one and you say, well, let me go back to the bad relationship.
That's in your 20 seconds too long with an hour.
Keep moving forward. Why are you on the show here, by the way? Keep moving forward until you find it. Instead of you going backwards. Thank you. I don't know why
I can understand. I can understand. Let me thank you for your closing. If you saw the reason why George came on the show with a face like that, you can understand, you know.
We will talk about it tomorrow.
You
can't.
Why you have to show the CDC picture?
Nelson is the opposition. They meant that government collaborator.
We have that conversation tomorrow.
Just so our people can know, tomorrow we'll discuss it. I got a lot of information.
You see Josh's face that day, you know.
Like that.
I always smiling. I always smiling. I always smiling.
No, we will have the conversation.
Let's get Judge chance to make a point, right? But Amy, the bread and butter issue is very important. I want to know how many jobs the government have created with the road construction here. Now, what we want to know, how many
we'll
jobs
discuss that
created?
tomorrow.
But guys, seriously, we have to go. I want to say thanks to everyone.
Yeah.
It's been a
So
great
Nelson,
show.
can I say something at least?
No.
Josh,
No.
thank you. Thank you
You
for
don't
coming.
say any lie here, we'll have to respond to you, so we don't have time.
Thank you, our brother. 1 million.
You say what you want to say. Back.
Give us 15 seconds too now. When you get him 1 minute, because that's only 1 minute.
George, your
guys.
clock is the time where
Thank you, and thank you, Amy and Anthony and my GM brother Formula. Look, the thing is that it is a disservice to our nation for people to come on here, and as I heard Amy insinuating that people were doing selective interview. These are the same people that went in the streets to interview people in 2023. These are the same people that are going there to do the same thing, and then you
That's
come
how
on
I have
here.
to respond because see what I
You
mean.
want to tell us that these people are doing selective, or they are editing, or they are doing something else. It's a disservice to our nation, and people. Let me tell you, people will mock you if you go and tell them that the thing that the market women are saying is a lie, that they pay them to say it, or they edit their voices to say what they're saying. These people, they are talking about what they are experiencing. They are not talking about some abstract thing that you can see. It is there. They are living with it. So for the fact that when this government was coming to power, they said everything that the CDC was doing was wrong. We thought when they were going to come, they were going to stop building the RI highway. We thought when they come, they were going to stop everything else and going to do something different, because everything that they made us to believe was that everything the CDC was doing was not good.
Thank you, Josh.
So if you come and want to complete everything that the CDC did the same way, the same fashion,
They
then
never
of course
started
we have a
anything.
problem.
Just writing on
We have
paper
a
doesn't
problem.
mean you starting your work.
Thank you.
But anyway,
They started
now
the RI highway. They started the RI highway. They started the RI highway.
Come start new show here.
I just give you one example. They started the RI highway. They
And
started
it was
the RI highway.
modified. The project was modified. The RIA was modified.
Let me correct George because he just misquoted me.
Come on
Let
now.
me correct him. Formula
Tell me, because I know exactly what I'm talking about. Tell me how was modified the road.
Yeah, I can tell you if you give me the chance to.
Formula, 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, go
Formula,
ahead.
you want to tell me. If you want to tell me how many people went to hospital, I will listen to you. But not for you to tell me what was modified
You
on the
said
road.
that I said people
let me
were
listen to
being
this guy.
edited. I told you that people's voices were being edited. That's not what I said. You yourself, you coming deceiving the Liberian people right now. What I said was that when people go out there in the street, like for example, Nelson will go out there. You and I send Nelson in the street to go and interview people. Nelson, everybody that Nelson interviewed, you would not tell me. You would not sit on this platform and tell me, say, everybody that Nelson interviewed has something bad to say about the government. And not one person that was there that said something good. That's what I said. So when they bring the tape to you, you pick all the bad ones. You pick all the bad ones to play instead of playing the whole tape. That's what I said. So don't come here and tell lies to the people what I said. That's it.
That's the whole point. There were more people saying bad than people saying good things.
I want to say thank
So they
you.
shouldn't play the good ones because there were more people saying
They
bad.
still play everything. Maybe you are not watching the one that was good.
Even that one person said good, you should play everything. You lying.
We
That's
want to
the
say
Liberian
thank
people are suffering under this calamity you brought
yeah,
on
that
us.
people are enjoying doing job. Yeah, we saw it.
The market will be saying.
Georgie,
Anthony has started.
you can't hijack
Pregnant women getting stuck in mud are enjoyment. People
I want
who
to say
study
thanks to
ranking
everyone
truck
who's
are
been a great
enjoyment.
show.
We
We
saw
look
it.
forward to doing
Thank you,
better
guys. Thank you. I'm glad you had a wonderful show.